Chapter 2105, Cultivation. Want to cultivate our holy object? Dream on. B.A. Su sneered. That holy object has been in our possession for so many years, yet I have only managed to realize the fourth skill after all this time. Even I myself am so far away from completing all 9 skills. How is Jian Wushuang going to catch up? Ichenjich, let him cultivate if he wishes. The battle will break out within this millennium anyway, let him waste his time on that treasure, the eerie elders sneered along. A millennium? Haha, I'm afraid he won't even reach the first skill, B.A. Su laughed. They were in no rush. In their eyes, Jian Wushuang could never fully master it within 1,000 years. No way. Access 6 novel. Even B.A. Su thought that Jian Wushuang would need at least 1,000 years to master the first skill. But in reality Jian Wushuang had only used 2 weeks. Naturally, B.A. Su did not know that at that time. Time passed. Within the Special Tribes domain, many special tribes had already learnt about the Sky-Swallowing clan colluding with the Archleon Palace, and its attempts to erase the Black Dragon clan. While shocked, the clans began to hate the Archleon Palace and 3 Emperors' world even more, and saw working together with the Sanctuary Alliance as a definite must, and made the necessary preparations. Within a short span of time, almost all the experts from various clans had finished their preparations. Now they had to wait for Jian Wushuang to surface. By this time, Jian Wushuang had been in the dungeon for 18 years. 18 years to a normal cultivator was nothing more than a blink of an eye. For Jian Wushuang, these 18 years have been fully dedicated to the realization of the soul-swallowing pearl's 9 skills. He had mastered his first, then his second, then his third, all without resistance. The skills were supposed to be increasingly hard to master, but Jian Wushuang had found the opposite. The 9 skills were all similar, combined to form a complete secret skill. Therefore, after Jian Wushuang had realized the first few, mastering the rest had been no big deal. After 18 years, Jian Wushuang had finally mastered all 9 skills. And with that, a complete activation skill. Now for the cultivation. With a tinge of excitement, he began to cultivate the soul-swallowing pearl. With the complete activation skills by his side, the cultivation was single. Within moments the pearl, surrounded by boundless aura, gradually floated towards Jian Wushuang and entered his body. As the pearl was being completely cultivated, Hong Long Long, a boundless soul power instantly rose from the pearl and landed straight in his substantive soul. The soul power that rose was powerful beyond Jian Wushuang's imagination. The soul power so pure. As he absorbed it, Jian Wushuang could feel his soul power increasing at terrifying speeds. This, Jian Wushuang was completely shocked. The speed was simply too astonishing. The last time his soul power had increased by so much was when he had made it through the 7th step of inverse cultivation onto the 2nd stage, but there was still a long way to go to reach pinnacle Emperor God levels. His soul power levels were a weakness in his opinion, in comparison to his overall fighting power. Thankfully his soul was strong enough to defend against average soul attacks, with the help of defensive treasures like the 5-gem armor. But now, as the billowing soul power from the soul-swallowing pearl was being absorbed, his substantive soul increased exponentially, reaching pinnacle Emperor God levels in moments, and it did not stop there. Before long, his substantive soul accumulated to a certain level and started reaching great Emperor levels. There was little resistance, as his soul then started to change substantively, finally reaching average great Emperor levels. Yet it did not stop there. His soul power continued to increase. The size of his substantive soul was also increasing exponentially. After a while, not until the pure soul power from the pearl had been fully cultivated and absorbed into his substantive soul, the soul quietened down. Jian Wushuang remained seated, but he could feel the change in his substantive soul. He could feel that strong soul power. This soul power, pinnacle 1st stage great Emperor levels. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist, eyes glimmering with joy, causing waves in his heart. From a normal Emperor God, he had jumped to 1st stage great Emperor levels in moments. In such a short period of time, his soul had grown so much stronger. Incredible! This pearl, unbelievable, Jian Wushuang muttered. As he cultivated the soul-swallowing pearl, He understood where its pure soul power came from. It had been accumulated by the pearl across a long period of time. A powerful treasure without an owner for an extended period of time could see its power diminished. Others continued to absorb power from its surroundings even without an owner, to ensure it did not diminish in strength, but instead increased it. The pearl belonged to the latter category. It had collected tremendous amounts of power across the long period of time without an owner, and had converted the power into pure soul power. The accumulation of pure soul power was astonishing. After recognizing Jian Wushuang as its owner, the soul power the pearl had accumulated for years was passed directly to him. This allowed his soul to strengthen at such amazing speeds. Chapter 2106 Soul Attack. My soul has always been weak. It was one of my weaknesses. Now, the power of my soul is equivalent to a top-tier Stage 1 Great Emperor. With the help of 5-gem armor and soul-swallowing pearl in defense, no one can harm my soul in this eternal chaotic world. Jian Wushuang was absolutely confident of this. It is not just pure defense, even my soul attack. How strong will my soul attack be with my current soul power and the help of soul-swallowing pearl? Let's find someone and test it out. Jian Wushuang was excited. King Qinxing, please make your way to the underground palace. Jian Wushuang transmitted a message to King Qinxing. Upon receiving the message, King Qinxing rushed to the underground palace. The guards outside received word from Jian Wushuang that King Qinxing was entering, so they let him through without any problems. Emperor! King Qinxing stood respectfully in front of Jian Wushuang. He noticed that the soul-swallowing pearl disappeared from the place it was originally at. The soul-swallowing pearl? King Qinxing was shocked. I have successfully refined it. Jian Wushuang smiled. Congratulations, ancient god emperor. King Qinxing cheered. He had heard of how powerful the soul-swallowing pearl was. Now that Jian Wushuang had control over it, his fighting power. I refined the pearl not too long ago. The power of my soul has risen a lot, and I want to try out the power of the soul-swallowing pearl, Jian Wushuang said. Is that the case? King Qinxing nodded his head as he understood the reason Jian Wushuang had summoned him over. Prepare yourself, I'm going to use the soul attack, Jian Wushuang continued. King Qinxing took a deep breath as he prepared layers of defense on his soul. He dared not be complacent and was well prepared for the attack. Jian Wushuang activated the pearl without hesitation as a soul attack gushed out. The power of this soul attack rose tenfold under the influence of the pearl. Yes, tenfold. Jian Wushuang's soul attack should be at the level of a Stage 1 Great Emperor in theory, as he himself had soul power at that stage. In reality, the soul attack he had just cast was far more powerful, as it could even harm a Stage 2 Great Emperor. Without surprise, the soul attack rammed through the defense King Qinxing had set up as it smashed onto his soul. King Qinxing shuddered and moaned. His face turned pale. How do you feel? Jian Wushuang looked at King Qinxing and asked immediately. Very, very powerful. I can guarantee that no one whose soul power has yet to reach the level of a great emperor can successfully defend against that attack. Even I needed a great amount of effort and preparation to deal with it. If you cast this attack with the element of surprise, I would not be able to fend it off. Even though I would not be severely injured, there would be a brief period of emptiness in my consciousness, King Qinxing said seriously. Oh, Jian Wushuang's face lit up. An expert's soul would have to take a heavy hit in order to create a brief period of blankness in his conscious. King Qinxing was a Stage 2 Great Emperor. Even when he was well prepared, the soul attack still created this brief period of blankness. This proved how powerful the soul attack was. Without a doubt, if Jian Wushuang cast soul attack with the help of the soul-swallowing pearl, his soul attack could even threaten a Stage 2 Great Emperor. Another point to note was that he had cast this soul attack without any soul attack secret skills. To maximize the power of a soul attack, one needed to cast the soul attack together with a soul attack secret skill. Without using a secret skill, his soul attack could already threaten a Stage 2 Great Emperor. What if it was combined with a soul attack secret skill? I used to master soul attack secret skills such as the 5 Beast Soul Manipulation Knack, the secret skill of Tian Yuan, and 18 Azura Hell. However, all 3 of these secret skills are of very low level. Even the creator of the most powerful secret skill of Tianyuan was at the level of Sir God, Jian Wushuang thought to himself. His current opponents were all at the level of Great Emperor. How could he use a secret skill at the Sir God level when his soul power was at the level of a Great Emperor and he possessed the soul-swallowing pearl? Looks like I have to find a way to get my hands on a strong soul attack secret skill. I shall ask Emperor Bai when I return to the human territory, Jian Wushuang planned. Jian Wushuang stood up after a deep breath. Let's leave, King Qinshing, Jian Wushuang commanded. Roger that. King Qinshing nodded his head as he followed Jian Wushuang out of the palace. King Zhanzong, who was guarding the palace, bowed to his emperor. King Zhanzong, lay out seals around this palace. From today onwards, send experts to guard this place. Tell your men that no one shall enter this palace. Violators will be executed. Jian Wushuang ordered. Yes. King Zhanzong nodded his head. King Qinshing looked confused. Ancient God Emperor, you have already successfully refined the soul-swallowing pearl. This underground palace is now useless. Why are you still defending it so heavily? Jian Wushuang smiled. The process to refine the pearl is very complicated. No ordinary cultivators can refine it in such a short amount of time. I managed to refine it due to special reasons. No one else but the two of us knows of this. What will the Sky-Swallowing Clan and Acheron Palace think? Ancient God Emperor, you mean, King Qinshing understood what his emperor was trying to do. The power of the soul-swallowing pearl was extraordinary. It could turn the tide of battle in the war between the three emperors' world and the eternal chaotic world if used well. If the experts from the three emperors' world knew that Jian Wushuang had successfully refined this treasure, they would definitely take precautions. In order for this treasure to have its intended effect, the element of surprise was crucial. But now, Chapter 2107 Interest in Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang purposely repaired the seals around the palace and sent experts to protect the area. He also placed an order to kill anyone who tried to break into the palace. This was to create the illusion that the soul-swallowing pearl was still within the palace in order to bluff Acheron Palace. This would misdirect them into thinking that Jian Wushuang could not refine the pearl even after trying for a period of time. King Zhanzong set out to execute his orders. Jian Wushuang walked out of the palace. Ancient God Emperor. The Black Dragon Emperor called out as she flew toward him. Black Dragon Emperor. Jian Wushuang smiled. Ancient God Emperor, you finally left the palace. What was the result? The Black Dragon Emperor asked. It is not easy to refine the soul-swallowing pearl. Jian Wushuang said casually. I see. If the Ancient God Emperor cannot refine it, I think the hopes for the rest of us will be even slimmer. The Black Dragon Emperor was not surprised by the results. Jian Wushuang simply smiled before asking, Black Dragon Emperor, is there anything of concern? I want to speak to you about some things concerning the alliance. The Black Dragon Emperor said before looking at King Qinshing. King Qinshing took the hint and left. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows, but continued with the conversation. Before long, the Black Dragon Emperor left. Jian Wushuang stood there, confused. What is going on with the Black Dragon Emperor? Jian Wushuang was indeed surprised. The Black Dragon Emperor asked him about some tedious things to do with the alliance. Most of those things could be easily settled by any deputy leader, but she had chosen to find him. During the conversation, she asked some questions in a casual manner. However, some of those questions were personal. She asked whether he had a wife or children. Ancient God Emperor. King Qinshing returned to Jian Wushuang. King Qinshing, did you find there to be something off about Black Dragon Emperor? Jian Wushuang asked. Something off? Of course I can feel there is something off with the Black Dragon Emperor. She came to visit you at least 10 times while you were refining the soul-swallowing pearl. During that period of time, she would find me or King Gutong to ask things about you. If I'm not wrong, she is interested in you. King Qinshing smiled. Interested in me? Jian Wushuang was surprised. It was awkward. He hadn't had much interaction with the Black Dragon Emperor before. He simply saved her clan during a time of crisis and she had developed feelings for him? This couldn't be the case, right? Jian Wushuang shook his head and stopped thinking about it. During the 18 years Jian Wushuang had been in the underground palace trying to refine the soul-swallowing pearl, the respective clans had finished their preparations. Wormholes leading to the human territory were already set up, and all they were waiting for was Jian Wushuang. When Jian Wushuang left the underground palace, he hosted a meeting with the respective leaders of the various clans. He was the alliance leader, so he sat right at the front of the table. The people sitting beside him were leaders from Ancient God Clan, Black Water Dragon Clan, and the God Eater Clan. "It's my pleasure meeting you, Sir Lei Yuan and leader Qing Xiu." Jian Wushuang smiled at the two men from the three top-tier clans. One of the men was burly. He was covered in animal furs and his defined muscles could be seen clearly. The power of thunder was felt around his muscles and he radiated a violent aura. This man was called Lei Yuan. He came from the Thunder Ape clan. This clan was a strong clan. However, the clan was destroyed a long time ago by the Sky Swallowing clan as both clans were on bad terms. Lei Yuan was one of the many lucky members of the Thunder Ape clan who had escaped when their clan was being attacked by the Sky Swallowing clan. Back then, Lei Yuan had just been a Sir God. After all this times and cultivation, he had managed to reach the realm of Great Emperor. He had been active within the Sky Swallowing clan in recent years and tried to cause problems for the Sky Swallowing clan. However, his efforts were in vain. Now that the Sky Swallowing clan was finally destroyed, he had decided to reveal his true identity. The other elegant man, Qing Xiu, was dressed in green. He was the leader of the Green Leopard clan. He had reached the peak of Emperor God many years ago. He had handed over the matters within his clan to others and secluded himself from the rest of the world to cultivate. He had not been present during the coronation ceremony of the new ancient God Emperor. Now, he had reappeared as a great emperor. This time, we shall ally with the Sanctuary Alliance and battle the Three Emperors world. I hope both of you can step in and help when the time comes. Jian Wushuang looked at them and said, "No worries, ancient God Emperor. Even though my clan has been destroyed, I am still part of this territory and a member of the Special Tribes Alliance. Furthermore, you saw through the evil plan of the Sky Swallowing clan and destroyed them at once. You've avenged my clan for me. I will remember this favor and put in my all for the battles ahead." Lei Yuan said, "The Green Leopard clan is part of the Special Tribes Alliance. We will definitely do our best in the battle," Qing Xiu said. Jian Wushuang smiled upon hearing this. Qing Yuan and Lei Xiu were the only two great emperors within the Special Tribes Alliance outside of the three top-tier clans. Adding both of them to the total, there were now 8 great emperors in the Special Tribes Alliance: Black Dragon Emperor, leader of God Eater clan, and 3 great emperors from the Ancient God clan. As for Jian Wushuang, he was both a human and the emperor of Ancient God clan. He was not counted. I trust that everyone is well prepared given the amount of time we have. I now request all of you to bring your clans through the respective wormholes into human territory and gather the experts from the Sanctuary Alliance." Jian Wushuang said gloriously, "Roger." The respective leaders roared in reply. The experts from the various clans started making their moves. Chapter 2108 Confirmation within the Sky Swallowing Sanctuary. In a secluded territory. Jian Wushuang has already left the underground palace and ordered the experts to go to the human territory. The elderly man said coldly, "What about the palace?" Basu asked. According to the intel that Acheron Palace received, Jian Wushuang has arranged for several experts to guard the palace and given the order that none shall attempt to enter. The elder man said, "Humph. As expected, it is impossible for him to refine that sacred weapon. He is not dumb, so he gave up after trying for 18 years. If he can't refine that weapon, he won't be able to bring it out of the palace. All he can do is leave the weapon there and protect it." Basu smiled. That seemed to be the case. The elder man nodded his head. They did not suspect anything at all. After all, the weapon was the soul-swallowing pearl. Who could refine it within 18 years? What they did not know was that they had fallen right into the trap Jian Wushuang set. This is probably the best news we can have after the disastrous incident. The sacred weapon is not refined by Jian Wushuang. However, the alliance between the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance is not good news for the Three Emperor world. The elder man said grimly. Their main goal was to control the Special Tribes Alliance secretly through the Sky-Swallowing clan. If this did not work, they would secretly attack the few top-tier clans and wipe them out. The Special Tribes Alliance would be shaken to the core. Everyone then would be secure and uniting would be difficult. It's a pity that this double-layered plan had failed. The conditions in the Special Tribes territory were very stable and not much could be done. Human territory, Thunderbolt Island. The first thing Jian Wushuang did when he returned to Thunderbolt Island was look for Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tianqin. Emperor Bai, the experts among the Special Tribes Alliance have now reached the human territory. Jian Wushuang said, I know. I have made arrangements for their accommodation. Jian Wushuang, you did well. Emperor Bai looked approvingly at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang had not only resolved the crisis within the Special Tribes, but he had also become the leader of Special Tribes Alliance. Jian Wushuang, who was both a human and the ancient god emperor, could ensure the peaceful cooperation between the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance. During the time I was gone, how was Sanctuary Alliance? Have all the spies from Vientiane Tower been caught? Jian Wushuang asked. We have found most of them. The remaining few will not pose any threat to us. Ancestor Tianqin smiled. There should be spies from the Acheron Palace within the Special Tribes Alliance. It will be far too difficult to catch them all. Jian Wushuang continued. It does not matter. These small fries will have a minimal effect in this war. Emperor Bai smiled. Jian Wushuang nodded his head. That's true. It would be truly dangerous for the eternal chaotic world if the situation were like this. Emperor Zisu and Vientiane Tower were not found and destroyed, and the spies from the Acheron Palace went to infiltrate the Special Tribes under the cover of the Sky-Swallowing clan. Now that the majority of the spies had been caught, the remaining pawns would be far too weak to affect the eternal chaotic world. Emperor Bai, Ancestor Tianqin. I have an update. I have managed to refine the soul-swallowing pearl. What? Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tianqin were in awe. Emperor Bai looked over and exclaimed, 18 years. You only took 18 years to refine the soul-swallowing pearl? Are you kidding me? Even Emperor Bai was astonished by that feat. He clearly knew how difficult it was to refine the soul-swallowing pearl. It would be amazing even if someone could manage to refine the pearl within 118,000 years, much less 18 years. The first leader of the Sky-Swallowing clan was a genius, but it had taken him 800,000 years to refine the same pearl. I really did successfully refine it. Jian Wushuang said as a pearl that radiated tremendous soul power appeared from within Jian Wushuang. This ore? I fought with the leader of the Sky-Swallowing clan once. This is indeed the soul-swallowing pearl. How did you refine it within such a short amount of time? Emperor Bai asked as he stared at the pearl. I have no idea. I felt that the process of refining the pearl was easy. There are 9 spells within the soul-swallowing pearl. One must master all of them before they can use the pearl. I managed to learn these 9 spells easily. Emperor Bai, you too are an inverse cultivator. Does it feel easy to try and perceive and learn new things? Jian Wushuang continued. Very easily? Jian Wushuang, you must be kidding me. Emperor Bai narrowed his eyes and looked at him weirdly. Even though I have a good perception, it still takes time for me to grasp certain things such as rules or order. In the first era, I was totally clueless about rules or order, hence I was not one of the strongest back then. I only managed to grasp a little of rules of order during the second era over a very long time, with the help of many opportunities. If it was easy for me to perceive concepts, why would I take so long to grasp a little of rules or order? Ancestor Tianqin too looked over at Jian Wushuang curiously. Jian Wushuang smiled sheepishly and fell quiet. He got confirmation that the reason he could learn any secret skills or grasp concepts far faster than most people could imagine had nothing to do with him being an inverse cultivator. That left Jian Wushuang with the other possibility. Universal Tao scripture? Even though I have no idea why I have such a good perception, the soul-swallowing pearl is indeed refined. which has helped boost my soul power tremendously to the level of a top-tier stage 1 great emperor. If I make use of it to cast a soul attack, I can even threaten a stage 2 great emperor. All that I am missing is a powerful soul attack secret skill. Jian Wushuang said. Chapter 2109 Emperor God Zhu Xian, Soul Attack Secret Skill? Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tianqin looked at each other helplessly. Among the great emperors within the Sanctuary Alliance, no one excels in soul attacks. There are such secret skills within the library inside the Alliance, but their level is too low for you. Emperor Bai frowned. That's right. A great emperor who excels in soul attacks, especially you who can use the soul-swallowing pearl, is very valuable in the battle against the Three Emperors world. However, the Sanctuary Alliance is lacking in soul attack secret skills of the top-tier level. Ancestor Tianqin nodded his head in agreement. Sanctuary Alliance had many powerful secret skills, many of which originated from the First Era or even the ancient past. However, their soul attack secret skills. First of all, a soul attack secret skill was extremely rare and much more valuable compared to a normal secret skill, much less a top-tier soul attack secret skill. Even though the soul attack secret skills within the Alliance could elevate his soul attack to a high level, it would still be far from the maximum possible power level. They hoped that Jian Wushuang could use his soul attack to create a big advantage in the upcoming battle. I might know of one set of secret skills that can perfectly bring out your soul power to create collateral damage among the experts from the Three Emperor world, Ancestor Tianqin said suddenly. Jian Wushuang and Emperor Bai both looked over. Emperor God Zhu Xian. Ancestor Tianqin said. Yes, the soul attack secret skill he has is very powerful. Emperor Bai nodded his head in agreement. Who is this Emperor God Zhu Xian? Jian Wushuang asked curiously. He had not heard of this expert before. Sword Emperor, as you know, the eternal chaotic world is facing grave danger. Hence, many experts who were unheard of previously emerged from hiding. Emperor God Zhu Xian is one such expert. He is ranked highly on the Emperor God Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking list. Ancestor Tianqin smiled. Oh, it has been a long time since I last looked at this list. Jian Wushuang laughed. Indeed. You probably don't even know your own ranking on the ranking list. Ancestor Tianqin teased. That is true. What is my ranking? Jian Wushuang asked. Second to only Emperor Bai. Abysmal Saint Master is third, Red Dragon King is fourth, and I am ranked fifth. Ancestor Tianqin smiled. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. He was not surprised that he was ranked second. Within the Sanctuary Alliance, only Emperor Bai could beat him in a battle. He was surprised at the ranking of the Abysmal Saint Master. Abysmal Saint Master was a top-tier Stage 1 Great Emperor. He was still far from a Stage 2 Great Emperor, unlike the Red Dragon King who was a legit Stage 2 Great Emperor. However, now, the Abysmal Saint Master was ranked higher than the Red Dragon King. Seeing Jian Wushuang's confusion, Ancestor Tianqin continued to explain. Abysmal Saint Master was already very powerful. He had been cultivating a secret skill from the ancient past for the longest of time and was at a bottleneck for a very long time without improving. When he came back from the Three Emperor world, he had some inspiration and managed to break through soon after you left for the special tribes. Once there was a breakthrough in that secret skill, his power level skyrocketed and he became a Stage 2 Great Emperor. After the breakthrough, the Abysmal Saint Master went to look for the Red Dragon King and they had a skirmish. The result was that the Abysmal Saint Master won by a small margin. After that skirmish, the ranking changed. Is that the case? Jian Wushuang nodded his head and felt happy for the Abysmal Saint Master. They had had some resentment before. Now that they had made peace with each other, they had a pretty good relationship. Sword Emperor, you know his character. He does not like being inferior to others, that's why he went to challenge the Red Dragon King. I think he will come and challenge you next. Ancestor Tianqin said. Let him come then. Jian Wushuang laughed as he did not mind it at all. We are getting off topic. Let's continue talking about this Emperor God Zhu Xian. His strength and understanding of Tao is not top tier among the Emperor gods. However, just because of the terrifying soul attack secret skill he has, he can threaten even a top-tier emperor god. Ancestor Tianqin continued. During the battle that made him well known, he fought 2 top-tier emperor gods. However, once his soul attack was cast, the 2 emperor gods experienced a short blank in their consciousness. Even though they were well prepared, they still suffered under the effect of the soul attack. Furthermore, according to the intel the Sanctuary Alliance gathered, the soul power of this emperor god Zhu Xian have yet to reach the level of a top-tier emperor god. Oh! Jian Wushuang was interested. An emperor god whose soul power who had yet to reach the level of a top-tier emperor god could affect 2 such experts with a soul attack, even when the 2 were well prepared. The soul attack that this emperor god had must be. The intel department went to dig deeper into his history and found out this. He does not have any soul attack treasures. He obtained a soul attack secret skill which originated from the ancient past within the ancient battlefield which surrounded the Green Fire world. The soul attack secret skill was incredibly powerful. Not only in the aspect of a single target soul attack, it could cause collateral damage as well. He cast the soul attack against a group of 20 almighties, in which there were a few emperor gods. Once his soul attack was cast, 5 Sir gods died immediately while the remaining almighty, including the emperor gods, experienced a blank in their consciousness. Hence, we can confirm that the soul attack secret skill he has can target groups of people. Ancestor Tianqin explained. After hearing Ancestor Tianqin's explanation, Jian Wushuang had a better idea of the soul attack secret skill. The secret skill could target multiple people and had incredible power. This soul attack secret skill was very suitable for Jian Wushuang. Chapter 21 10 Conditions. Since we know that this soul attack secret skill is useful to Jian Wushuang, let's ask the Emperor God to give us this secret skill. There might be some problems with this, Ancestor Tianqin said. How so? Emperor Bai looked over and asked. From what I know, Emperor God Zhu Xian is a very selfish person. It took a lot of effort to get that soul attack secret skill, and it is one of his strongest moves. He won't be willing to give it away for free. Ancestor Tianqin smiled. Dumbass. The eternal chaotic world might cease to exist. He still cares about his secret skills? Emperor Bai's face turned dark. Now that the eternal chaotic world was under threat, experts were sharing their most powerful secret skills and techniques selflessly. Just like the lineage of Star, Jian Wushuang shared the secret skills of Star Palace, which was crazily sought after by everyone participating in the battle. This was not suggested by Emperor Bai. It was initiated by Jian Wushuang and the experts from the lineage of Star. They knew that the secret skills of Star Palace could raise the fighting power of the experts within eternal chaotic world. This gave them a high chance of winning the war. This was a selfless act of commitment by the lineage of Star for the upcoming war. After all, it was no longer a peaceful era like before. Before the eternal chaotic world faced danger, the secret skills of Star Palace was unique to the lineage of Star. Now, they would do anything and everything to increase their chances of winning. If the eternal chaotic world lost the war, every sect and clan would be destroyed, many experts would die. What was the point of selfishly hiding one's secret skill if that happened? Everyone understood this. But this Emperor God Zhu Xian, we have yet to ask him whether he will share the secret skill. Let us not judge the situation. I shall go to him personally and ask for it. Where is he now? Jian Wushuang asked. He is within the Red Dragon Sanctuary. You need not go down personally, just ask Red Dragon King to pass on the message, Ancestor Tianqin said. All right. Jian Wushuang nodded his head. Within one of the 10 sanctuaries, the Red Dragon Sanctuary. Within this sanctuary, Red Dragon King was the leader. In this territory, there was a large island where Emperor God Zhu Xian stayed. On the island, there were many servants. There were even 2 Sir gods there who took orders from Emperor God Zhu Xian. A figure appeared on the island. It was the Red Dragon King. Humph. This Emperor God Zhu Xian is really relaxed. The Red Dragon King looked down and felt the presence of the Emperor God Zhu Xian. Emperor God Zhu Xian sat in the middle of a palace. He was admiring the dance of several beautiful ladies. There were many servants serving him. A powerful aura was felt as it isolated the space-time within the island. The Red Dragon King teleported in front of Emperor God Ju Xian in the middle of the palace. When he appeared, everyone apart from Emperor God Ju Xian fainted. Red Dragon King? Emperor God Ju Xian was shocked. He stood up and greeted, "Greetings, Red Dragon Emperor. I am Ju Xian." The Red Dragon King looked at Emperor God Ju Xian. Without a word, he took out a token and broke it. When the token broke, a hazy figure appeared in the middle of the palace. This figure was a consciousness incarnation of Jian Wushuang, Emperor God Ju Xian. Jian Wushuang looked down on Emperor God Ju Xian indifferently. "This is greeting, Sword Emperor. I am Ju Xian." Emperor God Ju Xian said when looked up and recognized the figure. Emperor God Ju Xian became even more respectful. He was perturbed. The two men who appeared in front of him were one of the strongest men in the eternal chaotic world. One of them was ranked second on the Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking list, while the other was ranked third. Two of these superpowers had appeared in front of him at the same time. It was obvious they were looking for him. How could he not be perturbed? "Relax. I am here to ask for your help. I got news that you've got a very powerful soul attack secret skill from the ancient battlefield. This secret skill is very crucial for the Sanctuary Alliance in the battle against the Three Emperor world. I hope you can give us a copy of the secret skill." Jian Wushuang smiled. "Soul attack secret skill?" Emperor God Ju Xian turned pale. It was obvious that he was unwilling. This was normal. He had been through all that trouble to get the soul attack secret skill, and it became one of his most powerful techniques. How would he be willing to submit the secret skill? Jian Wushuang took note of his expressions and was not surprised. He continued, "The Sanctuary Alliance must have this secret skill. I know that it's not easy to get this secret skill. You can give your conditions." Ju Xian, Sword Emperor, made himself clear. "I'm sure you know what he means," the Red Dragon King said as he looked at Emperor God Ju Xian. If it were the Red Dragon King, he would not waste time speaking to Emperor God Ju Xian. Since the Sanctuary Alliance needed this, he would just force him to submit a copy of the secret skill. Unless Emperor God Ju Xian would rather die, he would have no choice but to submit a copy. Emperor God Ju Xian took a deep breath. He could deduce that the Sanctuary Alliance would not give up until they had the secret skill. He had no chance against such a powerful organization. Jian Wushuang had already allowed Emperor God Ju Xian to give his conditions. This was the biggest act of kindness the alliance could give. If he still refused to comply, he knew that he would die. "Sword Emperor, I am willing to comply. I do have one condition that I hope that you can approve." Emperor God Ju Xian said. "Name it." Jian Wushuang smiled. "I want to have the right to enter Heaven Repairing Palace." Emperor God Ju Xian said seriously. "Heaven Repairing Palace?" Jian Wushuang was stunned. He was confused. The Red Dragon King stared at Emperor God Ju Xian and yelled, "How dare you make such a demand? You dare bargain for the right to enter the Heaven Repairing Palace?" At the same time, an overbearing aura exploded from the Red Dragon King. Emperor God Ju Xian felt the aura and trembled. He was sweating profusely. He gritted his teeth and tried his best to resist the aura. Chapter 21:11 Heaven Repairing Palace. Red Dragon King. What is the Heaven Repairing Palace? Jian Wushuang asked. Jian Wushuang had just reached the top ranks of the Sanctuary Alliance. He did not know much. He had never heard of the Heaven Repairing Palace. That palace is a site of opportunity discovered long ago at the ancient Mystery Land, taken by the Sanctuary Alliance immediately, till now, Red Dragon King explained. In the Heaven Repairing Palace lies the opportunity of passage towards the heavens, but at a dear price which even the Alliance cannot bear to pay. Since its discovery, the palace has only been used once. There are 12 seats in the palace, meaning every time it opens only a dozen people are allowed to enter. The last time we opened it, those chosen experts received great benefits. Great Emperor Colored Glaze and Emperor Jiuqiao themselves attained Great Emperor levels upon entering, the Red Dragon King continued. Oh! Jian Wushuang was shocked. From one occasion 2 Great Emperors had emerged? This site of opportunity. We did not know much about the palace before we activated it. But after we did, we realized it was not only a site of opportunity, but a land of miracles. Any potential pinnacle emperor god stuck at an ability plateau could easily attain great emperor levels with this palace. Unfortunately, the price to pay for opening the palace is too great. We have not opened it since the first attempt. But with the eternal chaotic world barely hanging on, the Sanctuary Alliance must not get stingy with these affairs. That is why Emperor Bai and I have agreed to activate it once again at a later time, to help our great emperors improve their powers before the battle. Since that decision, the 12 experts entering must be chosen deliberately and carefully. We have made a list of certain emperor gods we want to enter, and the emperor god Zhu Xian certainly did not make the list, the Red Dragon King said. Jian Wushuang understood. The heaven-repairing palace had great potential for pinnacle emperor gods to emerge as great emperor levels. But there were only 12 spots, and all 12 were extremely important. Now, Emperor God Zhu Xian's condition was for the Alliance to give him 1 seat. Zhu Xian, you should know, with your abilities, even if you did enter the palace, the chances of you becoming great emperor are slim to none, Red Dragon King roared. I know, but slim as they are, there is still a chance. If you save a seat for me, not just the soul attack secret skill, I'll give everything I have for the both of you. Emperor God Zhu Xian clenched his fists, his body trembling slightly. He knew his conditions were a bit much. But that was his only way of becoming a great emperor. It was worth him risking his life for, no matter how slim the chances were. Jian Wushuang and Red Dragon King fell quiet. After a period of time, Jian Wushuang finally spoke. The decision of who gets to enter the palace is too big a decision for me alone to decide. I will take this up to Emperor Bai and discuss it with him. He'll keep you updated. Thank you, Sword Emperor. Emperor God Zhu Xian was elated. Jian Wushuang did not accept his offer, but nor did he reject it. Meaning to say, there was still hope. Red Dragon King, don't mind if you wait here for a while. Jian Wushuang glanced at him. Not an issue, the Red Dragon King replied. Jian Wushuang's consciousness incarnation instantly dispersed. On Thunderbolt Island, the Emperor God Zhu Xian is willing to hand over the secret skill, but he wants a seat in the heaven-repairing palace, Jian Wushuang said. A seat in the heaven-repairing palace? What a funny guy, Ancestor Tianqin sneered. But it's unexpected. With his own abilities, unless he encountered a miracle, he would never make it to great emperor level. The heaven-repairing palace is his only chance at that, and he will hold on to it tightly, Emperor Bai laughed. A seat in the palace is no small matter. Maybe it will be possible during other times, but during this period of chaos within the eternal chaotic world, we need the seats for our potential emperor gods to elevate to great emperors. His name is not even in our list. It would be a waste if we handed it to him, Ancestor Tianqin said. The seats are important, but so is the secret skill. Since this lad has given his conditions, we cannot ignore or pressure him otherwise. Tell him that the seat is his, but he will be sent to the most dangerous frontline against the 3 emperors world when the battle breaks out, whether he makes it to great emperor levels or not. If he wishes to gamble, he must also dedicate himself to the Sanctuary Alliance, Emperor Bai said. Agreed. Both Jian Wushuang and Ancestor Tianqin nodded in agreement. So that's that. Since we are on the topic of lists, Wushuang, I would like you to take a look at it as well, Emperor Bai said. With a wave of his hand, a list appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. The list had a couple names, all of which were known emperor gods within the eternal chaotic world. Not only the pinnacle emperor gods had made the list, even those who had not but had enough potential would find their names on it as well. Over 30 names? Jian Wushuang's eyebrows twitched. These are the unconfirmed ones. We have confirmed a few already, like Underworld God, Emperor God Tianling, Purple Moon's Chenmingzi. Those are the few most likely to reach great emperor levels, Emperor Bai laughed. Jian Wushuang nodded and began to take a close look at the list. As he scrolled through the names, he recognized many of them, some of which he had even fought against in the past. But there were other names he had never heard of before. Jian Wushuang's gaze locked onto one name. Chapter 21:12 Returning the Favor, Emperor God Lu Guang? Jian Wushuang's eyebrows were raised. He's on the list as well? Yes, Ancestor Tianqin replied. She may not be the best amongst pinnacle emperor gods, but she has shown great improvement in power over the years. She has potential. Offering her a seat would give her a minimum 20% chance of becoming a great emperor. What's your relationship with her, Wushuang? Emperor Bai asked. It began like this, Jian Wushuang said. The lineage of stars encountered a crisis back then. Extreme methods were used. For this I invited Emperor God Lu Guang to take down Deluge Fortress together, along with the Fort Lord. It was a personal favor I asked Lu Guang for. My powers have improved over the years, but not once has she asked me to return the favor. Oh! Emperor Bai nodded. With a wave of his hand, Emperor God Lu Guang's name was removed from the list. Emperor Bai, what is the meaning of this? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Emperor God Lu Guang was already on the list, her ability levels roughly the same as the others, I just didn't know who to pick. Since she has relations with you, you can use this to return the favor, Emperor Bai smiled. Thank you, Emperor Bai. Jian Wushuang was grateful. He did not like to owe others favors, it was circumstance that forced him to. Now he could finally return it. No problem, you are also amongst the top ranks of our Sanctuary Alliance. A word from you is enough to assign 1 or 2 seats on your own. Her name was on the list anyway, Emperor Bai waved his hand. For the other seats, we were not able to reach a consensus despite many meetings. From the looks of it, we need to let them compete for it. A fair fight, not a bad idea, Jian Wushuang nodded. Oh yes, Wushuang, you'll have a seat amongst the dozen entering the Heaven Repairing Palace as well, make your preparations. This came as a revelation to Jian Wushuang. Me? Was the purpose of opening the palace not to allow emperor gods become great emperors? He was already at great emperor level, and had been for a long period of time. As if he had read his mind, Emperor Bai could not help but smile. A great emperor would help the Sanctuary Alliance and Eternal Chaotic World tremendously in the upcoming battle, right? What more of a strong great emperor? According to what I have heard, you were to defeat Sky Swallowing Clan leader Ba Su face to face. I assume your abilities are already at the pinnacle of the 2nd stage level. Yes, Jian Wushuang did not deny it. That's it, Emperor Bai continued. The palace is not as simple as helping emperor gods become great emperors. It also helps great emperors like yourself to feel what the rules of order are like. What? Jian Wushuang was taken aback. The Heaven Repairing Palace could help him experience rules of order? Don't be shocked, of course the palace has greater utilities. If not, the Alliance would not have used 60% of our hard-earned resources on its activation, Emperor Bai said. However, it only barely lets you experience rules of order. Barely. To realize and master the rules of order from the interaction alone would be impossible, no matter how powerful your realization abilities were. Jian Wushuang understood, but could not hide his disappointment. He thought from the interaction with rules of order, perhaps he could try to learn it. From the looks of it, there was no way. Of course, even if you do not manage to learn it, experiencing it alone will do you wonders in the future. The palace will also improve your abilities in all ways. It won't help your inverse cultivation with the 3rd stage, but it'll still improve it nonetheless. With your abilities, even without rules of order or the 3rd stage inverse cultivation, you still have a chance with 3rd stage Great Emperor abilities. Having a 3rd stage Great Emperor would be fantastic for our battle efforts. Jian Wushuang understood. The Eternal Chaotic World currently only had one true 3rd stage Great Emperor, Emperor Bai. That included both the Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance. The rest were at most 2nd stage Great Emperors. The known 3rd stage Great Emperors of the 3 Emperors world were Kaiser Blood, Lord Fun, and Demon King Qinyu. That made 3 of them. Kaiser Blood even had the potential to battle Emperor Bai face to face. Under these circumstances, the Eternal Chaotic World needed a new 3rd stage Great Emperor. And Jian Wushuang was the closest amongst them to reaching that stage. Understood, rest assured that I will do my best to reach 3rd stage as soon as possible, Jian Wushuang replied. No rush, don't stress yourself out. That won't do any good, Emperor Bai smiled. Here are 3 letters, one for each seat in the palace. One is for you. Please pass the other 2 to Emperor God Lu Guang and Zhu Xian. Jian Wushuang received the letters before going on his way. Outside Thunderbolt Island. No rush back to the Red Dragon Sanctuary, let Zhu Xian wait there a bit longer. I should return the favor first, Jian Wushuang smiled, and made his way to Emperor God Lu Guang's residence. Outside the 10 top sanctuaries, in the dark void, lay a floating plateau. It may not have been big, but it was extremely idyllic, with its fair share of mountains and streams. At its center was an ancient palace. Emperor God Lu Guang was amongst 2 purple-haired lasses. Qing Xian, we are about to enter battle with the 3 emperors' world. Are you ready for it? Emperor God Lu Guang asked. Relax, sister. This battle concerns the life and death of the eternal chaotic world. As an almighty, I am already mentally prepared. Unfortunately, I am only an ordinary Sir God. I cannot influence much. But you, sister, a pinnacle emperor god, has a greater responsibility, the purple-haired lass replied. Oh yes, I have heard rumors from the Sanctuary Alliance saying that they would open the Heaven Repairing Palace again. You have a shot at those seats. Heaven Repairing Palace? Emperor God Lu Guang shook her head and laughed. Too many people fighting for those seats. Is not as easy as you think it will be. Just when Emperor God Lu Guang finished her sentence, Wang, a figure directly appeared within the palace without warning. Emperor God Lu Guang and her purple-haired lasses sensed it and immediately sent people to check it out. Chapter 21:13 Emperor God Lu Guang's surprise, this is? When Emperor God saw who had arrived, she froze before getting up. Greetings, Sword Emperor, she bowed. Emperor God Lu Guang, how are you? It's been some time since we've last met. I'm honored you still remember me. Emperor God Lu Guang smiled humbly, but deep down she was conflicted. When she first met Jian Wushuang, his powers were beneath hers. But in the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang was ranked 2nd in the Heaven and Earth Supreme ranking list, one of the best experts amongst the Sanctuary Alliance, next to Emperor Bai. Yet she remained a pinnacle emperor god. Jian Wushuang was on a different level. Emperor God Lu Guang, I have arrived here today to repay a favor, Jian Wushuang replied. Emperor God Lu Guang's facial expression changed. Jian Wushuang indeed owed her a favor, she had simply never asked for it. Firstly, Jian Wushuang was already too high in status, she had dared not ask. Secondly, she had nothing urgent to request of Jian Wushuang. Yet now, without asking, Jian Wushuang had came to repay the favor. This token is for you, Jian Wushuang said nothing more, and passed it to her directly. Emperor God Lu Guang received it, puzzled, but when she took a closer look and realized what the token was really about, she trembled. This is the Heaven Repairing Palace token? Emperor God Lu Guang's eyes were wide open, staring straight at Jian Wushuang. Yes, Jian Wushuang smiled. Your abilities and potential is pretty good. The Sanctuary Alliance wanted to place you into the list of candidates anyway. I simply gave you a push. Consider the favor paid. Thank you, Sword Emperor. Emperor God Lu Guang was so grateful. She knew Jian Wushuang was not lying. Everyone knew the 12 seats in the Heaven Repairing Palace were not confirmed. Yet at this juncture, Jian Wushuang had given her the token directly. It may have been due to her abilities and potential, but it was also definitely because Jian Wushuang had helped her from behind. With Jian Wushuang's position and influence within the Sanctuary Alliance, a slight push would be more than enough to get Emperor God Lu Guang the seat. I shall not stay for long. When the palace opens, I will send someone to inform you, Jian Wushuang said, and with that he left. Within the palace, Emperor God Lu Guang and the purple-haired lasses remained standing there. Emperor God Lu Guang had calmed down. Sister, this is wonderful. You were worried about that seat a moment ago, then immediately the Sword Emperor delivered it to you personally. I'm surprised as well, Emperor God Lu Guang smiled. The Sword Emperor did owe me a favor, but I never asked for it. He came to return it on his own, with a seat in the Heaven Repairing Palace. I know a little regarding this Sword Emperor. Apparently, his powers are next to Emperor Bai's in the Sanctuary Alliance. With his status and power and influence, even if you had no potential, he could still get a position for you, the purple-haired lass said. Indeed, Emperor God Lu Guang nodded. I was intending to hold on to this favor for when something big happened, like a crisis, but now, I didn't really help him out much back then anyway. I should count my lucky stars for getting the seat. Emperor God Lu Guang smiled and looked towards the purple-haired lass. Qing Xian, the palace should not take long to open. I should prepare myself during this period of time. Forgive me for taking my leave. Understood, the purple-haired girl replied. She was extremely happy for her. Emperor God Lu Guang immediately started preparing for the palace. On the other side, Jian Wushuang made his way for the Red Dragon Sanctuary. This time, he was going down personally. On the huge island, the Red Dragon Sanctuary. O Red Dragon King, this twirling divine serum was painfully obtained by me 2 million years ago. Please try it. Chapter 21:14 3 Divine Lights. Good to hear, Red Dragon King nodded. At that moment, a figure formed within the palace. It was Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor. Emperor God Zhu Xian immediately took a bow. Zhu Xian, you got lucky. Jian Wushuang looked at Emperor God Zhu Xian. Emperor God Zhu Xian knew what that meant. He looked at Jian Wushuang in delight and excitement. With a flip of his hand, the token appeared in Jian Wushuang's hands. Emperor God Zhu Xian knew what that was. It was the Heaven Repairing Palace's token. I've discussed it with Emperor Bai and the others. You can have a seat on one condition. Regardless of if you become great emperor or not, you will swear to fight at the forefront as our vanguard when the time to battle the 3 emperors world comes. Do you accept this? Jian Wushuang said indifferently. Emperor God Zhu Xian flinched. Red Dragon King at the side laughed. The Sanctuary Alliance has always been fair. You want something others could have possessed instead, you need to pay a higher price than them. This is normal. Emperor God Zhu Xian nodded and replied, Sword Emperor, I am willing. As long as I get the chance to enter, I will do it even if it costs me my life. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and tossed the token towards him. After he received it, Emperor God Zhu Xian clenched the token tightly with his fists, his eyes lighting up. The Heaven Repairing Palace, the opportunity of a lifetime. Seeing that, Jian Wushuang nodded his head from a corner. If it were him that had reached a bottleneck as a pinnacle emperor god, he too would have gambled everything for a chance to enter the palace, even putting his life on the line. Any cultivator with the heart of an elite expert would have done the same. Furthermore, the emperor god had nothing to hold him down from his ambitions. Nothing was more important to him than becoming stronger. Emperor God Zhu Xian, the soul attack secret skill? Red Dragon King asked. Emperor God Zhu Xian bounced and took out a murky gray pearl. Sword Emperor, the secret skill lies within the pearl. In order to obtain the secret skill, you must obtain the method of inheritance from the pearl. I was unable to inherit it completely, so I was only able to learn a fraction of the secret skill. Oh! Jian Wushuang reacted. Emperor God Zhu Xian's soul attack was already very impressive with a fraction of the skill. What if he had learnt the complete set? Let me try. Jian Wushuang smiled and held the murky pearl in his palm, his soul power entering it. Information soon overwhelmed him. Jian Wushuang had started the inheritance process. As the process went on, he learned the name of the secret skill. The 3 Divine Lights, it was called. The secret skill came from the ancient era, created by an ancient expert proficient in soul attacks. The secret skill was split into 3 parts: Golden Light Scripture, Foggy Light Scripture, and Nether Light Scripture. The Golden Light specified one-on-one soul attacks, concentrating all soul attack power to form a golden light, increasing the soul power's abilities and decimating enemies. The Foggy Light allowed for area soul attacks, suitable for messy battles, or when the person was surrounded by enemies. That skill delighted Jian Wushuang. With the battle against the 3 Emperors world coming up, he would be able to use the skill against the countless enemies in one blow. The last scripture, Nether Light, focused on soul control. This scripture was the most powerful of them all, allowing Jian Wushuang's soul control to be silent, yet deadly. The nether light was much stronger than the soul control skills he had known. The three scriptures were entering Jian Wushuang's memory without obstruction or resistance. Within an hour, the process was done. Phew! Jian Wushuang opened his eyes and exhaled lightly. He was smiling. How is it, Sword Emperor? Red Dragon King looked towards Jian Wushuang. Not bad, this is an impressive skill, one of the best and most comprehensive soul attack skills I have ever encountered. It is not just good for one-on-one combat, but also area attacks. Soul control skills will help me a lot as well, Jian Wushuang said. That was true. Without a doubt, the secret skill was enough to cause substantial improvement in his soul attacks, allowing him to use it flawlessly during battles. Emperor God Zhu Xian, you can have the pearl back. Jian Wushuang tossed the pearl back to him. Emperor God Zhu Xian received it, but remained shocked. Sword Emperor, have you inherited the entire skill? Yes, Jian Wushuang nodded. How is that possible? Emperor God Zhu Xian could not believe it. When I first started learning, it took me almost a month for the golden light scripture alone. The foggy light took me 3 years, and up till now I have yet to master the nether light. But Sword Emperor, you did everything within an hour? How can you compare yourself to the Sword Emperor? Red Dragon Emperor looked at Emperor God Zhu Xian. He laughed awkwardly, but deep down he was impressed. He is indeed the recognized genius of the eternal chaotic world. Emperor God Zhu Xian raised his head. Sword Emperor, although you have obtained the complete secret skills, they all need constant practicing for them to get stronger. I do not know much on Netherlight, but the other two can be split into 4 levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and master. Each level will improve the secret skills abilities greatly. Chapter 21:15 Unhindered, 4 levels. Jian Wushuang gently nodded. Thanks for letting me know. With the secret skill in our hands, Sword Emperor and I shall take our leave. Remember, Zhu Xian, never tell anyone about this incident. We never visited you, understood? Red Dragon King instructed. Understood. Jian Wushuang and the Red Dragon King left after a moment's notice. Only after they had left did Emperor God Zhu Xian start to relax. His eyes were still gleaming with light. A spot in the palace, I actually did it? Emperor God Zhu Xian's excitement could not be contained. Before all of that, he could never have imagined entering the palace. But Jian Wushuang's appearance had given him a glimpse of hope. Even with that, he did not have high hopes the Sanctuary Alliance would actually allocate him a seat. All thanks to the Sword Emperor. It was rumored that this Sword Emperor slaughtered mercilessly during his conquests. Even during the Lineage of Star battle, he took down more than 100 almighties. But looking at him now, he's a nicer person than I had imagined. A good negotiator too. Emperor God Zhu Xian fumbled for a while, before making his decision. The palace is my last hope. I will make the best of it. Within the Red Dragon Sanctuary. Thank you for helping me out, Red Dragon King, Jian Wushuang smiled. Not a problem, you are most welcome to visit whenever you are free, Red Dragon King replied. Oh sure. Jian Wushuang nodded before taking his leave. Jian Wushuang returned to the Green Fire world and started analyzing the 3 Divine Lights secret skill. There was still a period of time before the Heaven Repairing Palace would be activated. Naturally, he would try to cultivate while he could. 20 years passed. Within those 20 years, the 12 seats for the palace were selected. It was about time to activate the palace. 3 Emperor's World within the Dark Void. Once there were 3 thrones within the void, now there were 4. Besides Leng Ruxue, Kaiser Blood and Demon King Qinyu, a new red-robed elder sat in the Anu throne. His hair and brows were all flaming red. He was a ball of fire, his flames felt as if they had burned through eras. Through the eras, the fire had shown no traces of extinguishment, but rather it grew to be more intense. He was Lord Fin, oldest amongst the 3 Emperors' world, and a 3rd-stage Great Emperor. He sat beside Leng Ruxue, his aura pressing down upon Demon King Qinyu. Demon King Qinyu's face darkened. Old Fun, we've been friends for years, is there a need for this? Ichenich, I just wanted to see how much you've improved. So many years, nothing. Not unexpected, Lord Fan snorted. Asshole, who do you think I am? My powers have long reached their limits since the ancient era. I'm restricted under these heavens, you should know this, right? Demon King Chinyu replied. Oh, I forgot, Lord Fan laughed with a tinge of sarcasm in his tone. Stop it, the both of you. Kaiser Blood at the front finally opened his mouth. Lord Fan raised his eyebrow and stopped talking. Lord Fan, you were severely injured during your previous fight with Emperor Bai. After all these years, you should know him best, Kaiser Blood said. Emperor Bai, Lord Fan's face darkened. He had a grudge. His power doesn't mean much back in our era, but now, terrifying would be an understatement. That battle with him? I was suppressed completely. Based on the first era divisions, I'm close to pinnacle third stage levels, but I know for sure that if I were to fight him now, I wouldn't stand a chance. Kaiser Blood's pupils widened. It's how he cultivated himself. He learned inverse cultivation, completely different from what I learnt. In this era, under the restrictions of these heavens, I can only utilize peak chaotic realm powers. But Emperor Bai, he had no restrictions. When I fought him, I could feel it. His foundation powers were already beyond chaotic realm powers. After pausing, Lord Fan continued, he already has the advantage based on pure strength, along with the rules of order and secret skills he has learned. Combine that together and you get an expert so strong almost no one from the first era can hope to surpass him. Such fighting power makes him invincible in this era. No offense, Kaiser Blood, but even though your rules of order are better than his under the restraints we are placed under, I'm afraid you are not his match. Kaiser Blood's eyes went even more bloodshot. Meaning to say, I have underestimated this Emperor Bai. His smile was ice cold, sharp like a blade. Inverse cultivation? Who created this system? How could it be so powerful as to ignore the restrictions these heavens have placed upon us? I'm not sure, Lord Fan shook his head. According to what I know, Emperor Bai was the first inverse cultivator. There have been others after him, but their achievements were limited. None of them reached chaotic realm powers. As Lord Fan finished, Leng Rushue responded, now there's a second one, Jian Wushuang. His inverse cultivation is now at chaotic realm powers, next to Emperor Bai. Chapter 21 16 Day of Activation. Oh. Lord Fan frowned. He had not exposed himself to the outside world for many years. It was natural he had not heard of the name Jian Wushuang. Kaiser Blood started mumbling. To recreate a cultivation system that goes against natural law. It was definitely not done by experts from this era. If anyone had the skills to this, it must have been a super expert from my era, the strong few. But who did it, and why did he create this? I do not know. Lord Fan and Demon King Chinyu fell quiet upon hearing that. They may have been impressive in the current era, but place them in the ancient era amongst the few super experts of that time? They were nothing more than ants, easily squashed. If they ever encountered such an expert in their lifetimes, they would all need to get down on their knees. Enough of this, I just received news from the Archilon Palace. The Sanctuary Alliance intends to activate the Heaven Repairing Palace once again. They want to increase their Great Emperor numbers before the fight, Kaiser Blood said. Great Emperor levels are the best this era can reach. We have made preparations for so many years, but we still do not have enough Great Emperors. Along with the various mistakes we made previously, we no longer have an advantage against them. Our fighting power is almost equal to theirs as of now, but if they gain a few more Great Emperors, Kaiser Blood looked at Demon King Chinyu. Demon King Chinyu's face darkened. He knew the advantage the three emperors' world had previously had been lost by the Archilon Palace under his lead. He had infiltrated both human and special tribes from the Archilon Palace for so many years, but he had lost everything in moments. Years of effort, gone. Relax, the Heaven Repairing Palace lies within the ancient Mystery Land. We have laid our traps over there for so many years. With me in charge this time, I guarantee there will be no more mistakes. But that Emperor Bai, Demon King Chinyu frowned. Recalling the previous fight with him, he knew he was not his opponent. If Emperor Bai were to appear, he would not stand a chance. "I'll pressure Emperor Bai on my side, giving him no time to clone himself," Kaiser Blood said. "That'll do. As long as Emperor Bai doesn't appear, no one in the Sanctuary Alliance can stop me. I'll kill all that enter the Heaven Repairing Palace, and maybe a great emperor or two," Demon King Chinyu said. Kaiser Blood and Lord Fan looked at one another and nodded. Indeed, regardless of Sanctuary Alliance or Special Tribes Alliance, Emperor Bai was the only terrifying person around. No one else was a third-stage Great Emperor. As long as Emperor Bai did not surface, Demon King Chinyu could crush anyone who stood in his way. "Another thing," Demon King Chinyu said. "We brought back some experts from the Sky Swallowing clan from the Special Tribes domain. Ba Su from that clan wishes to enter our land of opportunity and try to master some rules of order." "Ba Su?" Kaiser Blood squinted and said, "Ba Su was not able to complete our mission, but he has the ability. As a pinnacle second-stage Great Emperor, he would be strongest within the Three Emperors world, excluding us. If he can really master just a bit of rules of order and ascend to third-stage levels, that'll be good for us." "His chances are slim, but he can try," Lord Fan nodded. "In that case, we'll let him try once. But before he goes in, preparations must be made," Kaiser Blood said. "Of course, if he wants to enter, he'll have to listen to our orders from now on," Demon King Chinyu laughed. In the eternal chaotic world, near Thunderbolt Island, was a huge floating plateau. This piece of land was built by Sanctuary Alliance experts at a cost. The people that resided on the plateau were the experts from the Special Tribes Alliance. In a huge hall, Jian Wushuang sat there, watching over King Chinyu, Black Dragon Emperor, and An Quan. "I'll leave the alliance matters to the three of you during my period of absence," Jian Wushuang said. "Rest assured, Ancient Emperor, the Human Sanctuary Alliance is sincere. During this period of time, they have not clashed with us. Nothing will happen while you are at the palace," King Qinsheng said. "Okay," Jian Wushuang nodded and left. At the void outside the plateau, Abysmal Saint Master had been waiting. "Abysmal, you're making the rounds personally?" Jian Wushuang laughed at him. "Not just me, East Royal's already waiting outside the Heaven Repairing Palace." "Oh." Jian Wushuang was astonished. "What can I say? The palace lies within ancient mystery land, not under Sanctuary Alliance control. Furthermore, this is important. East Royal and I will guard the palace till you all leave," Abysmal Saint Master said. Jian Wushuang nodded. He knew that the Sanctuary Alliance dared not be reckless after spending much to activate the palace. They did not just send two great emperors to guard the palace, but placed multiple sealing formations at the ancient mystery land's entrances, with guards to protect them as well. This was to ensure no one from the Three Emperors world would come to interfere. Furthermore, Emperor Bai personally deployed himself to the void outside the Three Emperors world. If any experts were to come out, he would block them. The Sanctuary Alliance made their fair share of preparations. "Let's go," Abysmal Saint Master said. "Sure," Jian Wushuang replied. Using a wormhole, they arrived at one of the entrances. Jian Wushuang immediately discovered the multiple sealing formations. Tight security. With that, the both of them stepped into the ancient mystery land. Chapter 21:17 Entering the Heaven Repairing Palace. The ancient mystery land had been activated multiple times from the first era to the second. Now, the land remained permanently open. A huge ancient battlefield lay upon the land. Huge crowds of experts came during the early days of the eternal chaotic world. But as the Green Fire world expanded with their own superior ancient battlefields, not many people came back. "I've heard of this ancient mystery land multiple times, but this is the first time I've been here," Jian Wushuang smiled. "This land still holds many opportunities, but it's nothing compared to the battlefields in your hometown," Abysmal Saint Master said. Jian Wushuang smiled. Soon both reached the palace. The Heaven Repairing Palace stood amongst piles of rubble. It looked like a dilapidated palace beyond repair, but there was more to it than met the eye. Many experts were already waiting outside the palace. In front stood East Royal Emperor, the other 11 experts, and more who were in charge of protecting the palace along with the East Royal Emperor. Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master, East Royal Emperor greeted them. Everyone's here, East Royal? Abysmal Saint Master asked. Yes, with the Sword Emperor's arrival, we can begin to activate the palace, East Royal Emperor said. Jian Wushuang nodded and looked towards the 11 people. Among those were Emperor God Lu Guang and Zhu Xian. Noticing Jian Wushuang's gaze, they immediately bowed. Jian Wushuang smiled and noticed Qian Mingzi. Elder Qian, how are you? Jian Wushuang smiled. Qian Mingzi was an expert under Purple Moon Emperor. They had once helped the lineage of stars against the 3 big alliances. You're too kind, Sword Emperor, Qian Mingzi respectfully replied. Besides the trio, Jian Wushuang recognized another person. This young man wore a white robe, his hair white as snow, his gaze as cold. Emperor God Tianling? Jian Wushuang was surprised. Emperor God Tianling, co-founder of the Soaring Heaven King Palace, was the strongest expert within the Star Extermination Alliance, back when he fought at the lineage of stars. His abilities were already pinnacle Emperor God at that time, and he was qualified to fight against the Underworld God. After so many years, this Emperor God had yet to reach Great Emperor levels, but amongst Emperor Gods he was definitely the most qualified person for a seat in the palace, with the highest chances of actually reaching Great Emperor. Emperor God Tianling sensed Jian Wushuang looking at him. His emotions were conflicting. Jian Wushuang back then had fought vigorously against him at the Soaring Heaven King Palace. They only decided to let down their grudges temporarily for the 3 Emperors' world battle. But the Jian Wushuang of today, he had grown so strong that he left Emperor God Tianling speechless. At the same time, he was glad this battle was about to emerge. Without it, Jian Wushuang would have long ago made his move against the Soaring Heaven King Palace, and he would not be able to do anything about it. Regardless, I must reach Great Emperor levels after this. If not when Jian Wushuang comes after me, the Soaring Heaven King Palace will go down without a fight. Emperor God Tianling clenched his fists. He was determined. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang no longer cared so much about his rivalry against the Soaring Heaven King Palace. A small Soaring Heaven King Palace was no longer worth the time and effort needed to exact his revenge. Jian Wushuang's biggest enemy now is the 3 Emperors' world. He could even put down his grudge against Abysmal Saint Master and become good friends with him. As long as the Soaring Heaven King Palace did their best, he would not come after them. Of course, if they were to make any sudden movements, he would not let it slide. His gaze shifted to another person. This person attracted Jian Wushuang more than anyone else. His aura was the strongest amongst the Emperor Gods, even more than Emperor God Tianling. Maybe as good as a normal Great Emperor. If I am not wrong, you are Underworld God? Jian Wushuang asked the green-robed, normal-looking middle-aged man. Greetings, Sword Emperor. The man bowed humbly, but without much fear. I see, Jian Wushuang smiled. Rumor has it that you are the only Emperor God around able to go against a Great Emperor. I guess they were right. In fact, you're probably stronger than that. If I were to put you against a Great Emperor, you could probably handle it, right? Hearing this, the Underworld God smiled. He did not deny it. But he still humbly replied, the rumors are not true. I can indeed go against great emperors as an Emperor God, but am not the only one. With you, Sword Master, the unbelievable Emperor God at that point of time, how could I claim this title alone? Jian Wushuang laughed. He took a few more glances at the Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. The rest he did not care for as much. Since everyone is here, let us activate the palace now, Jian Wushuang said. Understood. East Royal Emperor nodded and waved a few gestures towards the palace. A token was tossed into the palace. The dilapidated palace started to glow and began its restoration to its former glory. The doors soon opened. You all can enter now, East Royal Emperor said. Please guard us well, both of you, Jian Wushuang said and entered the palace first. The other 11 Emperor Gods followed one by one. All he needed was an opportunity which could be found everywhere within this heaven-repairing palace, which meant that it was almost confirmed that he would reach the realm of Great Emperor. Emperor God Lu Guang, Elder Qian and every other emperor god on the altar realized the opportunity the altar provided. They were overjoyed. Before long, they were concentrating on meditating and working towards the realm of Great Emperor. They were different from Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang planned to use the heaven-repairing palace to raise his own fighting power and understand the doctrine. The remaining emperor gods planned to use this opportunity to reach Great Emperor. The opportunity that heaven-repairing palace provided them with the conditions to do so. All that was left was their own ability. Heaven-repairing palace had only opened once since its discovery. This was the second time it had opened. The amount of resources needed to open this palace was unbelievable, so even the Sanctuary Alliance found it hard to bear with. Like for today's opening, Sanctuary Alliance had used nearly 60% of the resources it had accumulated over the ages. The remaining resources would not allow them to open this palace even if they wanted to. Every time the heaven-repairing palace was opened, it would last for a month. A month's time was very short, hence the people within the palace gave it their all. In a blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Jian Wushuang, who sat on one of the altars in the darkness, opened his eyes. The purple exotic beast is beneficial for me. I meditated to all 3 of my doctrines: the space-time doctrine, the reincarnation doctrine, and the sword doctrine. I managed to have a breakthrough for my reincarnation doctrine. Jian Wushuang smiled. He is also very talented and has a high chance of making it through. As for the remaining, it depends on their luck. That is true. But no matter what, Jian Wushuang will not make it, Abysmal Saint Master said. Is that not obvious? East Royal Emperor smiled. Jian Wushuang was an inverse cultivator. How could he break through so easily? When they were having a casual chit-chat, in the space far away, a black cloud appeared. This cloud started becoming bigger as it approached the palace at a very fast speed. That is, the Abysmal Saint Master and the East Royal Emperor was aware of the approaching black cloud. They saw the true identity of the black cloud when used their soul power to scan it. It was a group of experts in black cloaks. These experts appeared instantaneously in front of them. Terrifying aura swept towards the heaven-repairing palace. Oh no! They are from Acheron Palace. Abysmal Saint Masters and East Royal Emperor's faces turned pale. Damn it! How did the people from Acheron Palace came into the ancient mystery land? Aren't the entrances guarded by people and secret restrictions? Even if they forced their way through, there should have been a heads-up for us? The Abysmal Saint Master yelled. He realized that these experts from Acheron Palace did not enter via the entrance. They must have came from other routes. Without giving them any more time to think, the experts in black cloaks approached them. Humph! The Abysmal Saint Master snorted as he turned into darkness. The darkness turned into a large, dark vortex. A monstrous black beast charged out from within the vortex. Chapter 21-22 Jian Wushuang's retaliation. Looks like I underestimated the capabilities of the Acheron Palace. Jian Wushuang thought solemnly. He made a decision instantly. Jian Wushuang left the altar. He appeared in the dark space which was severely damaged. He scanned the emperor gods sitting at the other altars and said, "All of you continue to meditate and cherish this opportunity. Let me handle the commotion outside." He then left the 11 emperor gods behind and dashed out of the palace. There shouldn't be any problem since the Sword Emperor decided to handle the matter personally. Let us continue. Underworld God said before he closed his eyes. The remaining 10 emperor gods composed themselves and continued meditating. Outside the heaven-repairing palace, Demon King Chenyu was still in a frenzy, throwing punches at the palace. The palace looked like it was going to collapse at any moment. None of the experts from Sanctuary Alliance could stop him as he rained down punches ruthlessly on the palace. Right then, a beam of light burst forth from within the palace. The moment it appeared, a terrifying sword aura swept out in all directions. Jian Wushuang had fire in his eyes. Divine power raged all around as Blood Mountain Sword turned into lightning and slashed towards Demon King Chenyu. With his current power level, even a casual slash was very powerful to the point a stage 3 great emperor like Demon King Chenyu would be threatened. Demon King Chenyu frowned. His fist changed its target from the palace to the sword light. Clang. The collision between flesh and metal made a thunderous sound. After the collision, Demon King Chenyu staggered while Jian Wushuang took 3 steps back. While Jian Wushuang was moving back uncontrollably, whoosh, 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 7 beams of golden light glowed. Every beam of light was a sword which contained great power. They were his Hongjun golden swords. Before Jian Wushuang entered the heaven-repairing palace, his understanding of the space-time doctrine had limited him to being able to command only 6 of these swords. After half a month of intense cultivation, his understanding had reached the peak of the 9th level within the Doctrine Palace. Hence he was able to command the 7th sword. The 7 Hongjun golden swords were like 7 shooting stars. They streaked across the space and appeared in front of Demon King Chenyu together. Humph! Demon King Chenyu grunted as demonic mist surrounded him. His right hand enlarged and encompassed all 7 swords. With a bang, the 7 swords flew backwards. Jian Wushuang's face turned dark upon seeing this. Demon King Chenyu has grasped a little of rules of order. He is much stronger than me if he uses his power together with his secret skills. Each slash by any of my 7 swords has the power of a top-tier stage 2 great emperors. However, he simply used his fist and punched all swords away. This power, it's a pity that he has come too early. If he came 10 days later, I would have successfully celestial immemorial body. Using that power, it would be much easier to deal with him, Jian Wushuang muttered. The immemorial celestial body would not only make his diving body stronger, but also strengthen his Bodhi's self-defense mechanism. He should also experience a leap in the quantity and quality of his divine power. When he had first cultivated the first scroll of the immemorial celestial body, the quality of his divine power had increased 3-fold. Even though the second scroll would not have such a crazy leap, there would still be a leap in his power. Using that insane divine power, he could match Demon King Chenyu in power without even grasping rules of order. However, the fact was that he had not cultivated the second scroll of immemorial celestial body, hence his fighting power was not at that level. Even though my fighting power is lower, I can still fight him head-on using the unique properties of an inverse cultivator. Jian Wushuang thought as a glimpse of sternness flashed across his eyes. Jian Wushuang? It's you again. Killing intent spew forth when Demon King Chenyu saw him. He hated Jian Wushuang to the core. At first, Jian Wushuang had ventured into the 3 Emperors' world and destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone. This had caused their plan of using the Supreme Emperor Stone to destroy the eternal chaotic world to fail. Then, Jian Wushuang had helped to expose Zi's true identity as a spy. Jian Wushuang had used himself as bait and deduced that there was a spy among the higher-ups within the Sanctuary Alliance. The reason why the spies among Sanctuary Alliance were found and killed were largely due to him. Lastly, the reason why the plan for the special tribes had failed was also due to Jian Wushuang. This meant that the reason why the Acheron Palace had failed over and over again was because of him. This was also the reason why he had been shamed in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fun. Looks like it's my lucky day. You managed to escape the other time in the 3 Emperors' world, but you won't be so lucky this time around. What a joke. You couldn't even kill me the previous time. This time, you probably can't even fight me head-on. Jian Wushuang said coldly as he attacked. Ha! You've got guts. Demon King Chenyu fought back, excited. He completely ignored the heaven-repairing palace. Compared to the Emperor gods, Jian Wushuang posed a bigger threat to the 3 Emperors' world. He was an inverse cultivator like Emperor Bai with terrifying growth. If this were to continue, he could become the 2nd Emperor Bai. Killing him would mean much more than killing the Emperor gods within the heaven-repairing palace. Demon King Chenyu was confident about being able to kill Jian Wushuang. Back in the 3 Emperors' world, the reason Jian Wushuang had survived was because Emperor Bai had arrived on time to save Jian Wushuang. Another reason was because all Jian Wushuang did was run. Now that Emperor Bai was not around, no one could stop him. Furthermore, Jian Wushuang did not show any signs of wanting to escape and wanted to fight him straight on. How could he miss such a precious chance? Die, Jian Wushuang. Demon King Qinyu roared as 6 more arms grew to make up a total of 8. It is a pity that you cannot harm me. Now try this. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold as the sword essence he radiated changed. The essence before was unrestricted and felt like it could devour everything. At that instant, it felt like it had become the supreme power in this world. A will of the emperor that surpassed even that of the 9th heaven swept out in all directions. Jian Wushuang held the Blood Mountain sword with 4 of his arms. A huge amount of divine power and bloodline power was transfused into the sword steadily. He grew in size. At that moment, it was as though Jian Wushuang had morphed into a supreme emperor, and the sword that he was holding high was the emperor's sword. King's Sword Principle. It was the most powerful secret skill that Jian Wushuang had. However, King's Sword Principle was a poorly offensive skill. Furthermore, it needed time to channel. This was a skill used only when people wanted to use their ultimate skill head-on. On the other hand, Sword Principle Xian Luo was a skill best used in close-quarter battles. Jian Wushuang could only cast the first move of the King's Sword Principle for a long time. Even so, the power was still incredible. Now, after half a month of meditating within the Heaven Repairing Palace, there was a leap in his understanding of sword doctrine and sword skills. This allowed him to cast the second move in the King's Sword Principle. The move that Jian Wushuang had cast was the second move in King's Sword Principle. Die! Jian Wushuang yelled as he slashed his sword downwards. The power had already accumulated to the maximum. This slash split the sky. The entire space was split into 2 right away. Wherever the sword slash passed, it erased everything. The powerful slash appeared in front of the Demon King Qinyu. His iris constricted when he saw this move. He knew that just based on power alone, this attack without a doubt had already reached the power level of a stage 3 great emperor. This brat. Demon King Qinyu swung the arm which was holding the large black bat ferociously. Boom! A mighty shadow of a black bat appeared in the space and crashed into the slash. Chapter 21-24 The Final Hope Bang. A deafening bang reverberated in the air. When the 2 attacks met, the space around cracked as though it was made of paper. After the clash, Jian Wushuang backed off immediately. As for Demon King Qinyu, he too took 3 steps back. After the 3 heavy steps, Demon King Qinyu raised his head and looked at the Demon King Qinyu and frowned. This brat managed to force me to back off? Even though he had the upper hand in this clash, it was very small. Most importantly, the sword light forced him back. This meant that Jian Wushuang had the power to threaten him. Demon King Qinyu, that is your maximum power? Jian Wushuang stood in the air as he smiled at Demon King Qinyu coldly. Rage filled his heart before he had his temper back in control. This brat has an extraordinary power level. It is almost impossible for me to kill him alone. My target this time is the Heaven Repairing Palace. There is no need for me to waste my time on him. Demon King Qinyu thought. He moved after he made up his mind. This time, he did not move towards Jian Wushuang. His target was the Heaven Repairing Palace. Jian Wushuang frowned when he saw this. Take this, Demon King Qinyu. Jian Wushuang roared as his deep voice reverberated through the battlefield. Dark jade light burst forth from the 9 ancient god stars on top of his forehead as the divine power around him boiled. Ancient god's secret skills, moon picking skill. Heaven and earth shook as the space around Demon King Qinyu started to constrict. As for Jian Wushuang's current power level, the moon picking skill could restrain even people like Demon King Qinyu to a great extent. This secret skill, Demon King Qinyu was surprised. A large, soft hand started to float towards him, as though a mother was about to touch her baby. This large hand made Demon King Qinyu cautious as he sensed danger. Based on its power, it was even stronger than the sword skill that Jian Wushuang had cast. Even though Jian Wushuang is not a stage 3 great emperor, he still has many tricks up his sleeves, Demon King Qinyu thought as he turned even more ferocious. Monstrous clouds of demonic mist filled the sky instantly. Scram! The space-time which constrained him exploded with a roar as he swung the blade he held in one of his hands. A mirage of a colossal blade appeared and descended upon everyone. It tore everything in its way apart. It instantly ripped the hand apart. Jian Wushuang's offense disintegrated instantly. His purpose was not to injure Demon King Qinyu, but to halt him for a brief moment when the Demon King was parrying the attack. At that instant, Jian Wushuang dashed in front of Demon King Qinyu. "Demon King Qinyu, let us have a rematch." Jian Wushuang mocked. A unique sword essence could be felt radiating from him as he managed to cut off the Demon King. As for his current power level and sword principal Xian Luo, he had no problem stopping Demon King Qinyu. Jian Wushuang managed to block the fury of attacks by the angry Demon King Qinyu, stopping him from getting closer to the Heaven Repairing Palace. Damn it! Demon King Qinyu's blood boiled as he yelled at everyone who was around him. "What are all of you doing? Go and destroy the Heaven Repairing Palace and kill everyone around here." Upon hearing this, the experts from Acheron Palace attacked. This time, Acheron Palace not only sent a Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Qinyu, but almost every single expert they had. There were 6 Great Emperors. These 6 Great Emperors simply kept Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor occupied. In reality, not all 6 Great Emperors needed to be there to get the job done. Hence, 3 Great Emperors broke away and headed towards the Heaven Repairing Palace. Oh no! The Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor turned pale. However, they could not do anything to stop them. Chapter 21-25 The Two Men Who Broke Through. Boom. 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 Waves of attacks were being cast by the Emperor Gods as they crashed heavily on the Heaven Repairing Palace. After all these attacks, the palace started to shake vigorously. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. He was facing a choice. The choice of whether to cast his soul attack. Since the start of the battle, Jian Wushuang had not cast his soul attack no matter how his battle went against Demon King Qinyu. In reality, his soul attack was extremely powerful even without casting any soul attack secret skills or with the help of Soul Swallowing Pearl. His soul attack was powerful enough to threaten a Stage 2 Great Emperor. Now that he had mastered 3 Divine Lights, a soul attack secret skill from the ancient past, his soul attacks would be very powerful and destructive. Even though he could not free himself in his battle with Demon King Qinyu, soul attacks were very bizarre and could directly affect the Emperor Gods. Once he had cast soul attack, it could instantly kill all Emperor Gods who were attacking the Heaven Repairing Palace. However, once he did this, his trump card would be made clear. Soul Swallowing Pearl and his soul attack were trump cards that he wanted to hide. Emperor Bai also reminded him personally to not use this trump card unless absolutely necessary, as it could be of great use and greatly damage the opponents during the final battle against the 3 Emperors' world. The element of surprise would be lost if this trump card was revealed early to the 3 Emperors' world. Hence, Jian Wushuang was hesitant. In this scenario, if I do not use my soul attack to kill these Emperor Gods, Heaven Repairing Palace might be destroyed. The huge cost that the Sanctuary Alliance incurred would go to waste. Jian Wushuang thought as he made his decision. Looks like I have to use this move. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath. It looked like he was still keeping Demon King Qinyu occupied and stopped him from having any way to attack. Jian Wushuang was preparing his soul attack secretly. Right when he was about to cast soul attack, 2 figures, one after another, dashed out from within the palace. At the same time, 2 overbearing auras filled the entire battlefield. Ha! Jian Wushuang looked at the 2 figures immediately. One of them was a middle-aged man who wore a green shirt, while the other was a young man with white hair and eyes. Both of them looked around coldly. They were Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. The auras that radiated from both of them were far more powerful than that of an Emperor God, especially an Underworld God. His aura was on par with a Stage 2 Great Emperor Abysmal Saint Master. They broke through. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor too were elated. Indeed, both of them had broken through. They were already at the brim of the Emperor God realm. With the help of Heaven Repairing Palace, it was almost guaranteed for them to reach the realm of Great Emperor. Both of them wanted to get more opportunities within the Heaven Repairing Palace, so they were not in a rush to break through. Like Underworld God, he could have broken through on the 5th day in the palace. He did not waste time on breaking through as he knew he could do so even after he left the palace. Instead, he spent the time meditating. Emperor God Tianling could have broken through on the 12th day in the palace. Both of them wanted to benefit more from the palace. However, they felt that the heaven-repairing palace was in danger, and hence both of them made the decision on the spot to break through. Now, they stood in front of everyone as great emperors. Humph, bastards from Acheron Palace. Underworld God scanned the battlefield coldly as he fixed his gaze on the emperor gods attacking the palace frenziedly. Chapter 21-26 Desperate Measures. Kill them all. East Royal Emperor eyes were bloodshot as he fought a great emperor from Acheron Palace with a war spirit. Since all of you dare to come to Heaven-Repairing Palace, you should be prepared to die. The abysmal Saint Master screamed. He turned into a dark beast and fully displayed his stage 2 great emperor fighting power. He managed to suppress 2 great emperors from Acheron Palace. Underworld God killed most of the emperor gods and began focusing on his attacks on a great emperor from Acheron Palace. The great emperor retreated as the Underworld God used his stage 2 great emperor fighting power. Emperor God Tianling continued to chase the great emperor which he had wounded as he got closer to killing him. The last great emperor was in the worst state as he was being attacked by 4 war spirits. As for Demon King Qinyu, he was occupied by Jian Wushuang and had no chance to help his other teammates. Damn all of you brats! Demon King Qinyu's eyes were bloodshot as a terrifying killing intent radiated from him. He was burning with rage as the 8 divine weapons swung around crazily in an attempt to kill Jian Wushuang. However, his efforts were in vain as he could not even harm Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang could stop all his attacks using mixed element spirit from the sword principle Xian Luo alone. Even though he was passive and felt sullen, he did not mind at all. As for the current situation, the Sanctuary Alliance had an advantage. Lord Demon King, I cannot hold on much longer. Lord Demon King, let's retreat. Lord Demon King. Many urgent calls came from all around the battlefield as the great emperors from Acheron Palace could not hold their ground much longer. It was natural given the large gap in their power levels. Even though each great emperor had the ability to survive the most dire situations, that was only applicable if they were running away. Now, they were obviously at a disadvantage. If they did not run, they were simply awaiting their death. Bastard! Hearing the surrounding voices, Demon King Qinyu was angered even more. Acheron Palace had already failed many times. I have lost face in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fun. This time, Acheron Palace has already sent almost every expert it had. I even came down personally to take charge. If we were to fail again, my dignity and that of the Acheron would cease to exist and we would become a joke in the eyes of Holocaust sect. This time we cannot fail. Kill. Continue to kill. If all else fails, cast soul ignition. Demon King Qinyu roared as his voice blasted out loudly over the battlefield. Hearing this, the experts from Acheron Palace were shocked. Under these circumstances, Demon King Qinyu was still prioritizing his dignity? He asked them to give it their all and cast soul ignition? The experts from Acheron Palace were stunned as their faces turned dark. Under normal circumstances, they would be willing to give it their all. But soul ignition? Everyone knew that one would definitely die if they cast soul ignition. All the experts from Acheron Palace had taken a very long time to reach where they were right now. Who would die willingly? Most importantly, even if they risked their lives, they still might not be able to turn the tides of this battle, or even kill a few great emperors from Sanctuary Alliance. Furthermore, even if they could kill a few great emperors, or destroy the Acheron Palace to disrupt the plans of Sanctuary Alliance, it would cost them 6 great emperors. It was not a worthy trade. If they died this way, there would be no value or meaning in their deaths. Who would be willing to do something like this? Hence, the experts from Acheron Palace fell quiet after hearing the roar from Demon King Qinyu. None of them chose to cast soul ignition. The experts that Acheron Palace left in the ancient mystery land transmitted a message to Demon King Qinyu. Lord Demon King, The reinforcements from Sanctuary Alliance arrived at the ancient Mystery Land. There are a total of 6 great emperors and countless almighties. They will reach Heaven Repairing Palace soon. Demon King Chen Ye's face turned dark when he received this message. He was not surprised by this. The ancient Mystery Land was within the eternal chaotic world and was under the control of the Sanctuary Alliance. The experts guarding Heaven Repairing Palace would definitely request reinforcement from Sanctuary Alliance when they were under attack. Sanctuary Alliance would send experts to reinforce immediately. He planned to destroy the Heaven Repairing Palace and kill some experts from Sanctuary Alliance and flee before the reinforcements could arrive. What actually happened was the Heaven Repairing Palace was not destroyed, but the reinforcements were already arriving. He would be salty if he had to leave this way. "Brat, you forced me to do this." Demon King Chen Yu roared as a terrifying demonic mist boiled all around him. At the same time, streaks of blood-red secret restrictions lit up as they covered his whole body. He looked like he was made entirely out of blood. At the same time, the aura he had grew to a whole new level. This is... Jian Wushuang was shocked. He could deduce that Demon King Chen Yu had used another secret skill to boost his power, and not soul ignition. Demon King Chen Yu was risking his life and giving his all. A stage 3 great emperor chose to risk his life? How strong would he be then? Jian Wushuang then experienced it firsthand. That. Demon King Chen Yu roared with rage as his 8 arms swung the divine weapons at Jian Wushuang. It approached Jian Wushuang from every possible angle. The speed and power of the attacks had reached a whole new level. Jian Wushuang looked gloomy. Divine power boiled as he cast his sword skills again fearlessly. Boom, 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 boom. Waves of deafening collisions shook the entire battlefield. With each collision, Jian Wushuang grunted. With the sudden growth in power, Jian Wushuang took even more effort to fend off the attacks. After barely fending off these attacks, the aftershock of the attacks still managed to hurt him even though the 5-gem armor had neutralizing effects. Jian Wushuang's current divine body was extremely powerful, yet the aftershocks of Demon King Chen Ye's attack could still harm him. This proved how powerful the attacks were. Chapter 21-27 The Salty Demon King Chen Yu. The terrifying onslaught continued. The fighting power that Demon King Chen Yu displayed shocked Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God and everyone around. They knew they could not even fend off one attack at that level. However, Jian Wushuang could fight the Demon King head-on single-handedly without backing off at all. Demon King Chen Yu could not deal with Jian Wushuang even after he had risked his life and given his all. His face was dark. After many collisions, the aura radiating from Jian Wushuang did not weaken at all. Under the fury of attacks, Jian Wushuang was unharmed? This brat! Demon King Chen Yu gritted his teeth and thought. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang was actually hurt. After each collision, his divine body would be hurt. However, his divine power would heal the injury instantly. This caused the illusion that Jian Wushuang was completely unhurt. This was how overpowered the perfect chaotic holy body in the 7th step of inverse cultivation was. Demon King Chen Yu could not do much to Jian Wushuang. Furthermore, Chen Yu. Another message came through. This time, Demon King Chen Yu was surprised as the person sending the message was Kaiser Blood. Chen Yu, leave immediately. Emperor Bai is headed your way. Kaiser Blood said urgently. Demon King Chen Yu did not care about the 6 great emperors who were coming to assist. There was no way they could hurt him. However, this was not the case for Emperor Bai. He had fought Emperor Bai head-on before. He clearly knew how powerful and scary that man was. The last time they had fought in the 3 Emperors world, he had some confidence. However, this time they were fighting in the ancient Mystery Land, in the territory of Emperor Bai. His life would be at risk if he was overwhelmed by Emperor Bai and the experts from both the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance. Even though Demon King Chen Yu was extremely unwilling to retreat, he dared not stay. He took a deep breath and shouted, "Retreat!" His voice reverberated across the battlefield. He had originally attacked Jian Wushuang in a frenzy. Now he backed off quickly. The experts from the other battlefield had long reached their limit. Now they heard the command to retreat, They heaved a sigh of relief and started to retreat. Humph! You do not simply come and go at will. Chase them and kill them all. Jian Wushuang commanded coldly. Jian Wushuang turned into a shooting star and started the chase. Kill! Kill! Kill them all! Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, Emperor God Tianling and East Royal Emperor chased alongside Jian Wushuang. As for the 5 war spirits, Jian Wushuang recalled them to the 5 fire godly spirit mirror. The experts from the 2 different sides started a game of cat and mouse. They flew across the ancient battlefield at amazing speed. Jian Wushuang and his allies had a very strong killing intent as they chased the people running quickly. Within the ancient battlefield, they had no additional consideration as it was under the control of Sanctuary Alliance. The situation was different for the experts from Acheron Palace. The 6 great emperors from Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance have already entered the ancient battlefield. I have already messaged the others to see if they will stop the bastards from Acheron Palace in time, Abysmal Saint Master said, giving chase. Jian Wushuang's face turned dark. He knew clearly that there had to be a wormhole within the ancient battlefield. There would be no way that the experts from Acheron Palace could sneak past the various defenses that Sanctuary Alliance had put in place otherwise. Now these experts from Acheron Palace were heading towards the wormhole. They had no idea where the wormhole was, or whether the reinforcements could stop the intruders in time. She had already developed feelings for Jian Wushuang long before the request. She would never reject Jian Wushuang's request to stay within the divine weapon. 3 of the 6 had agreed. Underworld God and Lei Yuan hesitated for a while but eventually agreed. 1 person was left, and it was Emperor God Tianling. Emperor God Tianling. No, Great Emperor Tianling. Emperor Bei's voice resonated. I know what your concerns are. Rest assured, Jian Wushuang will not take his personal revenge against you. Abysmal Saint Master was in the same situation as you previously. Emperor God Tianling flinched and took a glance at Abysmal Saint Master. Eventually he agreed. Like that, all 6 great emperors agreed. Since you all have agreed, please do not resist. Jian Wushuang smiled, as his blood mountain sword turned into a huge mountain and suppressed the 6 great emperors. If it had been under other circumstances, it would not have been easy these 6 great emperors. It was much easier to do it when they did not resist. Soon all 6 of them were suppressed within Jian Wushuang's blood mountain sword. For Jian Yi, he was long within the blood mountain sword. Jian Wushuang, take care and do not be reckless. This is a life and death situation for the eternal chaotic world, Emperor Bai instructed. Understood, Jian Wushuang nodded and made his way. Within the boundless dark void, the dark millstone the size of a few kingdoms floated there quietly. It had long stopped moving. Within the dark millstone lie the 3 emperors' world. Jian Wushuang had arrived at the edge of the dark millstone. Before arriving at the dark millstone, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. The Supreme Emperor Stone had not been destroyed the previous time I was here. There was such a huge formation then. The Sanctuary Alliance took great measures to send my team of 4 in the 3 emperors' world. But now, the temporary seals around the dark millstone do not stop me from entering without a trace. They encountered several seals along the way, but Jian Wushuang had managed to make his way around it. Soon, he was within 3 emperors' world territory. Chapter 2135 Shocking the 3 Emperors' World. Dan clan was exterminated. Even though the Chaotic Realm experts had managed to rush back from the Imperial City in time, it did not change the fact that they were exterminated. Over 90% of the experts from the Dan clan were killed. Only the lucky few escaped. The Dan clan disappeared within moments. The one who had caused this was the old monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared over 1,000,000 years ago. This news spread like wildfire across the entire 3 emperors' world. Many of the experts and clans were surprised and were all commenting on the incident. Old monster Hong Chen is alive after all these years? Not only is he alive, he has become even stronger? He must have encountered great opportunities during the time he was gone and become a top-tier middle-stage chaotic realm. This old monster is still so fierce and heartless. The first thing he does when he comes to light is to exterminate a clan. He is not even affected after killing so many cultivators. He is called Old Monster Hong Chen for a reason. He was never a kind man. Back then, it was the Dan clan that caused him to almost die. Now that he has finally recovered some power, what is stopping him from taking revenge? Many of the experts in the Three Emperors world were talking about this incident. No one doubted his true identity, no matter what their opinions on the matter were. There was nothing to be suspicious of. Everyone believed that the one who had exterminated the Dan clan was Old Monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared 1,000,000 years ago. However, within a city somewhere in the Three Emperors world, an elderly man in red clothes was in disbelief when he got news of this. Who is impersonating me? This elderly man in red clothes was the real Old Monster Hong Chen. He had been hiding his true identity all this time as he was afraid of the Dan clan. But Dan clan had been exterminated. Most importantly, he was the one who had exterminated it? He was still an early-stage chaotic realm expert. How could he exterminate the Dan clan alone? Without a doubt, there was someone using his identity. Why did he impersonate me? What is his goal? Old Monster Hong Chen muttered to himself. He then shook his head and continued, "It does not matter. He helped me exterminate Dan clan and avenged me. I shall let him use my name to do whatever he wants." Old Monster Hong Chen did not plan on exposing Jian Wushuang. Even though the Dan clan had been exterminated, he would never use the identity of Old Monster Hong Chen ever again. Old Monster Hong Chen's name had become well known in the Three Emperors world after the Dan clan was exterminated. Jian Wushuang had achieved his goal. Now I can enter the Imperial City confidently. Jian Wushuang smiled as he headed toward the entrance of Imperial City. At the gate of Imperial City, it was guarded tightly. The elder in gray clothes who had stopped Jian Wushuang from entering was still standing there. An extremely evil and gloomy aura could be felt from the space far away. This aura was flamboyant. Even though the person was still far away, the elderly man in gray clothes noticed it. What an evil aura! Who is that? The elderly man in gray clothes knitted his eyebrows. Soon, the owner of the aura appeared at the entrance and revealed his face. It was an elderly man with red hair and clothes. It has been so long since I was last here. The Imperial City feels different. Jian Wushuang muttered to himself casually. May I know who you are? The elderly man in gray clothes asked Jian Wushuang. I am Ancestor Hong Chen. Jian Wushuang replied. Ancestor Hong Chen? The elderly man in gray clothes turned pale. The actions of this devil were widespread across the Three Emperors world. According to some, this devilish man had been meditating in a secluded cave until some real gods chanced upon his cave and woke him up. He had then immediately exterminated the Dan clan, which caused quite a commotion. Now, he was here at the Imperial Palace. Oh, so why are you here at the Imperial Palace? The elder man in gray clothes asked. I have reached the peak of middle-stage chaotic realm. I am very close to peak chaotic realm. Why do you think I am here? Jian Wushuang smirked. You are here to use the resources within the Imperial Palace to break through to peak chaotic realm. The elder man in gray clothes understood his intentions and was not suspicious at all. Hey old fool, are you going to let me through? Jian Wushuang said impatiently. The elder man in gray clothes knitted his eyebrows. Even though Old Monster Hong Chen was infamously known to be Adavil, he still had the right to enter the Imperial Palace as long as he was an almighty. You can enter. I have to remind you to control your temper and not break any rules inside the palace. Even though you can exterminate the Dan clan alone, there are still many experts within the palace who can kill you easily. The elder man in gray clothes said, I do not need someone like you to remind me of these things. Scram and stop blocking my way, Jian Wushuang roared as he headed into the palace. The elder man in gray clothes knitted his eyebrows lightly but did not stop him. It took some effort, but I finally made it in. Jian Wushuang smiled as he looked around within the imperial palace. Since he had made it into the imperial palace, what followed would be much more simple. This is Emperor's Summit? The protecting formation is gone? Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up when he saw the magnificent summit in the distance. The imperial cabinet was located at the top of that summit. He remembered he had only managed to successfully enter the Emperor's Summit after winning the qualification battle. Now, the Emperor's Summit was completely open to the public. Beside the Emperor's Summit, there were 3 large statues which stood tall and proud. There had originally been a golden vortex in the middle of the 3 statues. Now that the Supreme Emperor Stone was destroyed, the vortex had disappeared too. Many people were meditating in front of the 3 statues. Within a bar inside the imperial palace, Jian Wushuang sat there drinking wine. He was also listening in to the people around talking about the changes to the imperial palace. According to what the waiter was saying, the changes to Imperial City had happened about 10 years ago. Someone had ventured into the Emperor's Summit and destroyed the sacred stone, Supreme Emperor Stone. The people in the 3 Emperors world called the man who had destroyed the Supreme Emperor's Stone the Devil. One of the well-built middle-aged men standing beside Ling Zong said. This time, Jian Wushuang disguised himself as ancestor Hong Qin, who had disappeared for 1,000,000 years. He disguised himself so well that the intel department of the imperial palace had no suspicion as to whether he was real. That's why we allowed him to enter the imperial palace to begin with. After hearing this, the great emperors around shook their heads helplessly. They had indeed put out preventive measures to stop Jian Wushuang and the experts from the eternal chaotic world from entering. In the end, it had been useless. If the sacred stone was not destroyed and is still here, many of the secret restrictions within the 3 emperors' world can be used and Jian Wushuang would not be able to be unrestrained. Ling Zong said, "It is no use discussing all this. Let's go and stop the experts from the eternal chaotic world now." The white-haired elderly woman said. When they were communicating, boom! A figure which radiated gloom flew towards them. His body was covered in dark jade light and he was over 10 feet tall. There were 9 heads and 18 arms on his giant body. Each of the 18 arms held a sword. Endless waves of sword essence radiated from him. It was as though he was an undefeatable god. Every one of the 16 great emperors was enraged when they saw this figure. Jian Wushuang! Zhong Ling screeched. Jian Wushuang continued to make his way towards the 16 of them without any delay. Within moments, he appeared in front of the 16 great emperors as his overpowering aura enveloped all of them. The aura was so strong that every great emperor trembled slightly when they felt it. "Kill him!" Zhong Ling roared as the 16 great emperors attacked simultaneously. Zhong Ling was the strongest of them. He was the first to take a step and raised his axe high up in the air. Boom! A black axe expanded in size quietly. However, the aura was terrifying. It crashed down towards Jian Wushuang. The well-built middle-aged man waved his hand, a hand which looked like it was made of jade. The hand too grew in size as it turned into a mountain made entirely out of jade crystals and crashed towards Jian Wushuang. This mountain felt like it could suppress everything in this world. Lastly, the white-haired elder woman held a dark golden stick. She swung that stick at Jian Wushuang as numerous shadows of the dark golden stick were seen. These shadows fused together quickly as it attacked Jian Wushuang. At the same time that Ling Zong was marveling at Jian Wushuang's fighting power, "Kill him!" Angry roars filled the entire battlefield as the various great emperors continued their attacks. The attacks were directed at Jian Wushuang as they approached from every angle possible. The numerous great emperors started their besiege on Jian Wushuang. Against these attacks, a unique sword essence could be felt radiating from Jian Wushuang. At that moment, it was as though his large body had turned into a dark vortex that could swallow everything as Jian Wushuang slashed his sword in a weird way. Sword Principle Xian Luo. Mixed Element Spirit. Clang, 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 bang, boom. Waves of noise reverberated through the air as the attacks were all blocked by Jian Wushuang. The terrifying power of the sword principle forced many great emperors back. At that moment, a flash of killing intent could be seen in his eyes as Jian Wushuang attacked. He crossed the distance between him and the closest great emperor and appeared beside him. That was a mere stage 1 great emperor. What? The sword light descended out of nowhere. This sword light was the fastest style in the sword principle Xian Luo. Turn monstrous at one thought. Watch out! One of the other great emperors beside him said as a warning. What? The lady in red cloak had a terrified expression on her face as she stared at the sword light approaching her. It is too fast. This slash is too fast. I can't do anything. Desperation was written all over her face as the sword light collided with her body. Even though her body armor was extraordinary, it shattered under the sword light and allowed the slash to penetrate her body, killing her. This is only the first. Jian Wushuang looked at the rest coldly as he picked up the Qian Kun ring and the remaining treasures. He then continued to attack the remaining 15 great emperors. Damn it! Bastard! Terror could be seen on the faces of the remaining 15 angry great emperors. They worked together as 16 great emperors with 3 stage 2 great emperors when they initiated the attack on Jian Wushuang. The result? Jian Wushuang remained unharmed while one of their comrades died. What was this overbearing fighting power? On the other hand, the 7 replica Hongjun golden swords that Jian Wushuang was wielding continued to attack Zichen. What? Zichen was shocked. He could not imagine how his legitimate Hongjun golden swords could lose to the replica Hongjun golden swords that Jian Wushuang had. He wanted to escape when he saw the Hongjun golden swords flying towards him. However, he was too late. 7 collisions could be heard. The 7 Hongjun golden swords each had power levels near that of a stage 2 great emperor. One was enough to kill Zichen, much less 7 of them. Zichen had only managed to survive the first 2 hits. The third sword penetrated his head while the remaining destroyed his divine body. Within an instant, another great emperor was dead. Jian Wushuang collected the remaining treasures and Qian Kun ring. The second one. Jian Wushuang scanned his surroundings with a bloodthirsty smile. To the great emperors around, this smile looked like a devil's smile. This smile made them feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. They gave their all and tried their best to kill Jian Wushuang. They hoped they could at least hold their ground against this monster, but Jian Wushuang was far too powerful. The fighting power of a stage 3 great emperor was far greater than that of anyone in the area. If Jian Wushuang simply had the fighting power of a normal stage 3 great emperor like Demon King Chenyu, they could fight head-on without fear. However, Jian Wushuang not only had the fighting power of a stage 3 great emperor, but also a disgustingly powerful self-defense mechanism. He was like a maniac who did not care if he got injured. He only went on the offense. This method of fighting would put his life at risk, but he could be killed by this group of great emperors. On the other hand, Jian Wushuang could kill them easily. He was much scarier than a leader from the 3 emperors' world. He had the fighting power, he had good defense, and he did not care about his own injuries. No matter how strong their leaders were, they could not afford to neglect the attacks of a group of enemies. Unlike Jian Wushuang, who did not care at all. He had been invincible since the start of the battle. How to deal with such a person? He himself had suppressed every single great emperor on the battlefield. He had fought 16 great emperors. With his terrifying fighting power, he made the remaining great emperors tremble in fear. Chapter 2145 Not Enough. Ba Su had morphed into a golden bat once again, his eyes filled with bloodlust. The Opportunity 3 Emperor's world has not only allowed me to master rules of order, it has increased my soul power tremendously as well. I even learned a strong soul attack secret skill and obtained a soul attack treasure from the 3 Emperor's world. With my soul power along with the Sky Swallowing Clan's soul attack, the secret skill and the treasure, is unparalleled against anyone below 3rd stage great emperors. This Jian Wushuang exposed his weakness to me both times that I fought against him. His soul. His soul is not strong. With a soul attack strong enough, I'll ignore his self-defense mechanism and kill him instantly. This move I'm about to make will definitely kill him. Jian Wushuang, prepare to die. The frenzied Ba Su was absolutely confident in his soul attack skills. He had heard of Jian Wushuang's self-defense mechanism. Decades ago, when he just had 2nd stage fighting powers, he was able to face Demon King Qinyu head-on without dying. His self-defense mechanism had become scarier. It was impossible to kill Jian Wushuang by material attack alone. In this world, under the premise of constrictions, no one could do it. But soul attacks could ignore the self-defense mechanism and pierce the opponent's soul. Only soul attacks could truly kill Jian Wushuang. A terrifying soul attack was heading straight for Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's eyes squinted, but he darted out instead of retreating. During his movements, the soul attack pierced straight into Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang let out a weird moan, and his face turned pale. But his body was not damaged by the attack at all. The Blood Mountain sword was already raised high, prepared to strike Ba Su. How could this be? Ba Su, still in the form of a golden bat, was surprised. He dared not believe it. Jian Wushuang had survived his strongest soul attack. Not only did he survive, he also did not seem to have suffered many injuries. When had Jian Wushuang's soul defense power become so powerful? Idiot, the decisive battle between the eternal chaotic world and the 3 emperors world is about to begin. Knowing my soul was my weakness, you thought I would not take precautions? Jian Wushuang sneered. What kind of soul defense treasure do you possess? Ba Su could not help but ask. Jian Wushuang could not be bothered explaining it to him. The Blood Mountain sword had already fallen. Sword Principal Xian Luo, Blast Rainstorm. This was also the first time that Jian Wushuang went on the offensive against Ba Su. With the help of immemorial Celestial Bodhi's 2nd scroll, bloodline power of the ancient clan doubled with Sword Principal Xian Luo's most powerful move. This sword move's power was enough to make any great emperor below the 3rd stage fall into despair. Damn it! Ba Su could feel the power of the sword. Immediately, he exerted his means to resist. A loud bang went off. Ba Su's body was split apart, and a blast of flowing light was released. The gap in strength and power could be seen immediately. Ba Su, you've run out of moves. Now it's my turn. Jian Wushuang's desire to kill was at its peak. His huge ancient clan body started to make its attack. As he was about to make his move, a huge space tunnel appeared from far, at a void above the Imperial Cabinet. Several figures stepped out of the space tunnel. There were 7 people, all of their strong auras indicative of their great emperor levels. And headed by them was Demon King Qinyu. Demon King Qinyu had rushed into the imperial city with 6 other great emperors. 3 of the great emperors belonged to the Acheron Palace. The other 3 were 3 emperors' world experts. As the battle within the imperial city began, many experts of the 3 emperors' world arrived at the battlefield through various channels at Kaiser Blood's command. The weakest of the 7, Emperor God Tianling and Lei Yuan, were at pinnacle 1st stage. The rest were all 2nd stage great emperors. Especially Jian Yi, as Jian Wushuang's sword servant, and an ancient era expert whose abilities had been fully restored, Jian Yi's powers were at pinnacle 2nd stage levels. With the many skills he had an advantage over Ling Zong and Wei Yin, the 2 middle-aged 2nd stage great emperors. The remaining 6 great emperors were all using their full combat powers. With Jian Wushuang's additional 5 fire godly spirit mirror, releasing the 5 godly spirits into the battlefield, their total strength was not inferior to the 19 emperors of the 3 emperors' worlds. The battle between both sides was extremely fierce, but it was difficult to determine victory and defeat in such a short time. The second battlefield was where Jian Wushuang was located. Jian Wushuang was in his enormous ancient clan form, with his 9 heads and 18 arms. He had no fear of going against the 2/3 stage great emperors Demon King Qinyu and Ba Su at the same time. He could not take down the 2/3 stage great emperors in front of him, but neither could Demon King Qinyu and Ba Su, who had joined forces. Both battlefields were in a stalemate. But not for long. From the Imperial Cabinet, another huge space tunnel appeared. A series of figures emerged from the space tunnel. At a glance, there were hundreds of people. Most of them were Sir Gods and Emperor Gods, but the 8 at the forefront standing side by side, with their magnificent auras, were true great emperors. From the Holocaust sect? Jian Wushuang's pupils narrowed. A blood-tainted robe and that eerie aura emanating from them confirmed the identity of the people. But what made Jian Wushuang surprised was that amongst these Holocaust sect experts, Leng Ruxue was nowhere to be seen. Instead, there was a red-haired elder. That elder stood there and his aura felt like a raging flame that had burned for endless years. Jian Wushuang felt tremendous pressure from him. It was much stronger than when he had faced Ba Su and Demon King Qinyu. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.